What's up, guys? How are you? How is your Tuesday? I know I'm a couple minutes early, but that's fine. Got to get some brain things going here because brain not braining today. I don't know about y'all, but brain not braining today. If you are not already on the list for today for the magical placements, then the list today is sold out. I do believe, let's see, today is sold out. Tomorrow is almost sold out. The 5th is almost sold out. There are only 5 tickets left. The 6th, there are some left, and the 7th is still pretty open. So depending on all of that, I'm just saying, if you have not gotten on the list, this is the time to do so. All right. So today we are going to start with, Alishia. I have 2 for Alishia. Okay. Got you for you and the kiddo. Yeah. Don't you hate it when, like, you can't put stuff down where it's supposed to go? I've got to clean my desk. Don't judge. Don't judge. Don't judge. I got to clean my desk. It ain't. I keep saying it, and I just don't do it. That's all right, though. That's all right, though. All right, let's pull Alicia's here. For those of you guys that missed this live stream yesterday, or missed what I was doing yesterday, these are magical chart placements. I'm looking at specific asteroid placements in your chart to, I have pulled one for you. Okay, to tell me about your magic, your gifts, your abilities, your role in the astral plane, how you get to the astral plane, how you travel, and other, like, pertinent information. Some of it is about how you see spirituality. Some of it is about your shadow self, like all of those things. So that is what we're doing today. So let me adjust all my shit so I can see things and stuff. And yes, last night I did 100%. I did 100% say I was gonna hook up my other screen, and I didn't. So that's on my agenda today too. I do have a live stream tonight. We're doing some witchery and Warcraft because I feel like I need to Hulk smash some things in some games. So yeah. Anyway. All right. So let's see here. Let me get my little cheat sheet out. Because I'm telling you what, it has been a brain day. It has been a brain day. All right, so you're a Pisces. Where is this sit? 9th house. Okay. So you aren't a normal Pisces. You are that Pisces that's a lot quieter and a little bit more reserved. Well, I lied because you have a Leo rising. But underneath that Leo rising, but you do have an Aquarius moon. Okay. So you are an extroverted introvert. All right, gotcha. So, let's look at this. We're going to start with your Neptune here. Neptune and Sagittarius. That is a lot of prophetic visions, meaning that you have clairvoyant gifts. And the 5th house is creative prophecy. So this is a lot of, you have a natural tendency to have clairvoyant dreams, clairvoyant visions, etc. You also, with that creative aspect there in the 5th house. And what is this? I hate that all of them are the same. This is your Hades. Hang on, let's look at this. Let's look at your Hades for a minute. Creative shadow, dangerous play. And that's in Sagittarius, which is a mythical descent. Your clairvoyancy has to do with a lot of bad shit. It has to do with a lot of bad shit. You see a lot of shadow things. I would bet you see a lot of shadow things from other timelines, from alternate, whatever you subscribe to, whatever, but strings, multiverses, etc. But you tend to see a lot of bad shit. The reason I was looking at what your Hades is, what that means there in that 5th house, is because this is a lot of artistry, like a lot of artistic aspects tied in with your sun, and you have your sun in the 9th house. It's also tied in with your moon. Your strongest gift is going to be that clairvoyancy. I would highly recommend starting to learn sigil creation and develop your own personal style of sigil creation. Because the ones that are created with I hate the little wheels. I'm sorry. I just do. I understand that some people that's how they create their sigils, but I personally don't like them. But you need to come up with your way of creating sigils, creating art pieces, spiritual things that offer that clairvoyant aspect, because that is where your talent lies. That is a very intense talent right there. Your Kali, that's the one I want to look at. 6th house is power used in service and healing, and it is in Capricorn, which is a very highly contained, high resilient power source. Okay, and notice that it wasn't tied into anything in this chart that we're looking at. It's not tied to anything. So you have a really intense need to help other people spiritually. Your soul is always going to be tied to helping people in both the physical life. My nose is itching. Somebody's talking about me. Both in your physical life, in your spiritual life, in the astral, etc. You are always going to be that person that wants to help them. And because your sun is in Pisces, you're squishy. And you are naturally drawn to that anyway, just period. So that's a double whammy. I mean, it's a good double whammy. But that being in Capricorn is like your saving grace, because that's where your life force, your energy body sits, is in helping other people. But the fact that it's in Capricorn means that it's very disciplined, it's very strong, it's very structured. So you do have no problem, or you don't have a problem cutting people off when they take too much of that energy from you. I don't want to look at that one yet. I want to look at your Hecate. Your Hecate is in Cancer in retrograde. Cancer is ancestral and domestic thresholds. 12th house is the veil thinning. Being that that's in retrograde, you are naturally talented with threshold work. You're naturally talented with ancestral work, but for some reason, you are cut off from your own. I would say that that is a karmic issue. Something that you really, really need to talk about, have something done. I would say, first of all, have a reading done. Have somebody pull your chart with the karmic issues, karmic placements, and see if they can help you. Why is my nose itching? Okay. I'm just saying. Have them help you figure out what that is. I will be offering those coming up, but whether it's me or somebody else. But this is your Pegasus, and I want to look at this before I finish up what I was saying, because this is ancestral pathways, and the fact that it's not tied into that also tells me that this is a karmic issue. This being in Scorpio is a lot of shadow gliding, so moving from shadow to shadow to shadow. And the fact that this is also tied in with your moon, I'm just saying, and this is, interpersonal relationships, but it being in that 4th house is ancestral pathways. The fact that this is ancestral aspects, not tied to that at all, and this is in retrograde, there is a serious, serious block there. There is a serious, serious block there with you karmically, with talking to your own ancestors. And this right here is why you have such a problem trying to connect with your own ancestors. Even though it's things you've done all your life, even though it's things that you've done with, you make grandma's pot pie every fall or whatever, things like that. You put up specific ornaments for Christmas. You do all these different things. Even though you have all of these traditions that you do, you still don't feel connected to all of your ancestors. And that's a very heavy feeling for you because you don't feel connected to your ancestors. The other thing that I would say is whatever this karmic issue is, I would want to look at your Saturn and how it coincides with those two placements right there and see if it touches either one of them, to see if that is a family, you know, a family karmic issue or your karmic issue, or just what's going on there. You have a very, very powerful drive to help other people, meaning that you have a natural healing ability with this placement right here, and being very, very structured with it. Reiki would be a great thing for you to get into. Any healing modality would be a great thing for you to get into. Whether it's physical, energetic, whatever, it doesn't matter. Mental, all of that would be a great thing for you to get into. You are very talented with shadow work as well because of that fifth house, these fifth house placements right here. But this one in particular, this is your Hades. Be very careful how deep you go into shadow to help people, though, because that comes with its own set of problems. The Pisces placement up there, being in tune with a couple of different things, you are very, very intuitive and very, very empathic. The fact that you're cut off from a lot of ancestral communication personally back and forth, that is going to tell you, or that tells me, excuse me, that tells me that you end up seeing all the red flags with people, but you don't act on them because you second guess yourself so much because you can't get in touch with ancestors, spirit guides, etc. So this is a lot of like damned if you do, damned if you don't with your spiritual path. I would say 100% to have a karmic, you know, issue looked at here on your birth chart. I would also say that if you're not learning healing modalities, you should start. It will make you stronger. That Capricorn placement right here, this Capricorn Kali placement, this one, that is such a disciplined energy form, and it being in service to others, it will only grow as you use it. So if you want that intense spiritual energy to continue to grow, then you need to utilize it, and it will continue to get bigger, 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 bigger. I'm just saying. A lot of clairvoyancy, a lot of sigil, artistic design, spiritual design, and being in service to others through energy work and utilizing that energy. I would say that you're an energy well, but not a massive one. Okay, you can grow that energy well, and just be careful with that, because those of you guys that are energy wells, let me say why I'm giving this kind of warning with that. If you're an energy well and you start doing a lot of work to boost your own energy and to make that energy well within you bigger, you can do that 100%. It's like any talent, any skill, any ability. The more you do it, the stronger it becomes, right? The problem comes with when you're doing this on a constant basis and you're working to, what the fuck is that? Make this bigger, make this stronger, more energy, etc. When you start doing that, you also have to find ways to disperse that. So if you have days where, you know, you're maybe you get into seeing clients, or maybe you're already a nurse or a psychiatrist, psychologist, counselor, whatever, and you aren't seeing clients that day, that is a lot of time that energy is used to being given out to other people, and suddenly it's not. So you have to find a way to diffuse that. Okay? So can you grow it? Yes. You just have to make sure that you're diffusing it. Okay? So I hope that answered all your questions there. That's a very powerful placement. That's a very, very powerful placement. Any Kali placement in Capricorn is a very powerful placement, because Capricorn is very, very structured, in-depth, contained, high power source. All right, so let's look at Kiddo here. And I've never pulled Kiddo's chart, so we're just going to go ahead and make a new one. What in the hell? Fine. Fine. All right. So now, let's make sure I didn't mess that all up. I kind of did a little bit. Let me fix it. Yeah, let me fix it. Sorry over there, TikTok. That was me. That was pure user error. All right, let's look. Trying to get everything like situated so I can see everything. All right. So we are going to look at first little Sagittarius right there with a Leo moon, ma'am, and a Cancer rising. You are in so much trouble when it comes to hormones. You are in so much trouble when it comes to hormones. Just get your big girl pants on, because what the fuck? A Sagittarius with a Cancer rising and a Leo moon. Ma'am. I will say that is probably the most caring and loyal kid. That is those placements right there. That is the most caring and loyal person that you could ever ask for in your life. They will go to the ends of the earth for the people that they love. %100. All right. So let's look at this Neptune placement right here. Neptune and Pisces. Total veil immersion. So lots of nightmares, night terrors, having problems sleeping. In the 8th house. That is death veil mastery. I'm going to bet right off the bat, I'm going to bet that your kid sees spirits. Kali in Leo is commanding presence, radiant dominance, and the 1st house is strong astral form and natural authority. Actually, let's look at that one next, because that's your Pegasus and that's how you travel. In Aries, which is a first responder. In the 10th house, which is a very recognized astral role. Who the hell did you give birth to? Total disillusion. Must avoid getting lost. And then 9th house, which is the underworld explorer. Hecate is in Aquarius, which is dimensional or time gates, and it is in the 8th house, which is death, rebirth, or initiation gates. All right, so let's talk about this. Let's talk about this kid. Let's talk about this kid. And I hope that you let her listen to this, because this is a very important role in the astral. And I love that you're into all of this stuff, because getting her in a place where she understands this and understands both her role and the dangers associated with it will make her a powerhouse spiritual person when she gets older. So all of these placements speak about being very well known in the shadow aspects of the astral. Very, very well known. She's been going there multiple lifetimes. Like, she's very well known over there. I would bet she also presents in a very large form over there. I would bet that she flies over there. I would bet that she presents as like a dark angelic being, if that makes sense. Very bright, very shiny, massive wings, but also a darker color like purple or something like that. Purple, magenta, something. But never solid white, never gold, never silver, things like that. She also has a lot to do with being a first responder. So she gets called in dreams, you know, at night, etc., in astral work to go and, I mean, wipe shit out, for lack of a better term, to wipe shit out. It's almost like she is a gatekeeper of, so when things cross over there, she gets to go track them down. Interesting, that's how she designed her Roblox character. I'm just saying one thing. She goes over there to find the things that have crossed the threshold that aren't supposed to be there. She also, I would be willing to bet her favorite types of games to play on there are where she has to go find something. Like the seeking out games. She's very good at that. She's also probably very, very good at finding lost items, at like hyper focusing on researching stuff, tracking things down, etc. Yep, good. She is a very important being in the astral. Let us say that. So when she's telling you about these dreams, listen. Because, listen, okay? You need to make sure that, I explained this to somebody last night. There's been a couple of y'all. Who are you giving birth to? Who are you giving birth to? I'll tell you my theory on that here in just a minute, because it'd be crazy. But let's talk about this. You need to make sure that her bed, her room, her doors, her window, her closet, under her bed, all of those things have protections under them. I personally recommend, especially with her skills, abilities, etc. over there, this needs to be done in like clear fingernail polish, because just like human eyes, those beings see that as well. They don't need to know why they're being kept out of her room. You need to do that, and then you need to make sure, this is going to sound weird, but just trust me, the hallways in your house have to be done before any of the outer doors, the hallways, because that's how she travels. I'd be willing to bet that she's told you that she just gets up out of bed in her dream, or she gets up out of a bed or a room or a chair and walks to a door and opens it to go in the hallway, and then she just goes wherever she's going. She travels via the back hallways. Like, she has access to all of those back door liminal spaces. That's why I said she's a first responder. She has, you've seen her do it. Okay. All of those skills and abilities make her a target for things coming back, because they want to hitch a ride on those liminal hallways. They can probably get into the liminal hallways, but they don't know what door to go through to get here. She just picks a door. Like, she just picks a door and goes in and out. Teach her how to lucid dream. Teach her how to be more powerful in the astral. She's already very powerful over there, but I don't think she remembers. But all of those things, when she comes back here, She carries a commanding presence with her. All of those placements, remember how I said she's like one of the most loyal people ever, one of the sweetest, most loyal people ever? Those are a lot of commanding placements. Those are a lot of commanding placements. And so with that, she's always going to draw people to her. She's going to draw the best of the best people to her, right? That Cancer placement, that Leo placement, all that. She's going to draw some of the most amazing friends and people to her that she will have for the rest of her life. She's also going to draw some very horrible people. And protections are going to be key for her here, just like they are there. But her gifts and abilities are unique in that when she tells you here in this realm, that's not a good person, that's not a good person. She can kind of, like her astral body can see through her here in the physical realm. She can see that person over there, she sees what they are. So if she says, hey, that person looks like they have a demon face under their face, they do. They do. She's going to feel fucking crazy, okay? But when she says that that's not a good person, it's because she knows. It's because she knows. I would bet that she will go back and forth from being, you know, the popular bubbly kid to being bullied. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I think it's interesting that a lot of you guys have kids with really, really intense placements like this. I'm going to encourage you to encourage her to learn about spiritual shit. Whatever she's drawn to. Protections, wardings, hieroglyphs, rune work, all of that stuff. All of those things are going to do two things for her. One, they're going to protect and they're going to help her channel energy and so on. And two, it helps her over there to figure out what doors to go in and lock those doors afterwards. So any kind of linguistics, any kind of languages, any kind of, you know, like I said, Egyptian, the hieroglyphs, the pictorial languages, etc. All of those, she's going to pick up like crazy. She's going to pick up like crazy. She'll love them. And they will serve her in this life and over there. But yeah, that's a powerful kid right there, man. That's a very powerful kid right there. She would also do really well in any kind of career in like criminal justice. Not being a cop or anything like that, but any type of, you know, where someone's got to recognize when someone's a bad person, a profiler. There we go. I couldn't think of the word. That would be an amazing job for her because she's always going to be right on. She's always going to be right on. So, yeah. But I think that a lot of people that especially are younger Gen X and older millennials and some of the Xennials that are there in between, depending on what chart you look at, are giving birth to a lot of these kids that are very, very powerful over there in the astral. And what's interesting is usually when I talk to parents and they talk about how their kids have very intense spiritual gifts and so on, their kid also doesn't want to be here. Like their kids, it's almost like they're mad that they were born and they don't know why they're mad that they were born. And if you look at everything that we're going through today, this is something I've talked about a lot, especially since I've been on TikTok, but it's something I've talked about a lot for a long time. The kids being born today were pulled early. They were pulled early to be here early. They're not supposed to be here. They don't want to be here. They made a deal, basically, to get time off of their learning sentence, you know, in their reincarnation cycles. But, so they're going to fight depression. They're going to fight anxiety, like hardcore. They're going to fight nightmares and shit like that because this is a lot of weight. A lot of them have very intense placements like this. And it's a lot of weight for them to carry, knowing what they're doing in the astral, knowing what they're doing spiritually. And their soul knows why they're here spiritually. But, and they're mad about it. They agreed to come here and, you know, they agreed to come here. But, yeah, they're still mad about it. I'm just saying. You're fighting all of that now. Yeah. Having her learn early starting to learn all of the things for all of the other spiritual practices and stuff like that, that's only going to help her even more. I'm just letting you know. It's only going to help her even more. Keep feeling like my tank top is like riding up in the back, even though it's not. It's pissing me off. Pissing me off. Yeah, it's going to be something that she's going to fight. It just is. Those feels, all of that, that's going to be something she's going to fight forever, probably. But you talking to her about it, and you being you and being kind of in the spiritual realm and you know, guiding her with it, are going to help her tremendously. Yeah, it's going to help her tremendously. So, and when, I hope that you guys have that relationship, and that you always have that relationship, that when these feelings start to get too much, because the problem is, it's not just here in the physical world that these kids feel this feeling. They feel it in the astral as well. And when there's so much going on over there, and she's a fucking first responder over there. Like, she goes and finds the things that are not supposed to be in areas and yeets them. So when that happens, that's a lot of energetic shit that she needs to learn to clear here. So if she wakes up and she's in just a foul mood, she wakes up and she's, you know, very melancholy, or she wakes up and starts telling you about a crazy dream or whatever, that's immediately, let's do some clearing work. Let's do some clearing work. You know, things like that. That will help start her day off better. And this can be, I personally would literally have her go with you. Y'all go and make a little saltwater spray. Have her keep it beside her bed. She can spray her bed before she goes to sleep. She can spray after she wakes up, or spray her feet, spray her hands, whatever. Just literally salt and water. And if you want to make moon water for it, do that. If you want to put a few drops of oil so it smells good, do that. Like, do you see what I mean? But that right there, that'll be a big thing, and that's something that she can do. You know, and maybe she can, if she doesn't want, you know, because I get it. Like, who really wants mom to help them with everything for the rest of their life, you know? I mean, some people do, but you know what I'm saying. It might be something where, you know, she comes down for breakfast or whatever and is like, oh, I had to use my saltwater spray this morning. And that just be a signal, you know, hey, I had a bad dream, you know? I don't want to talk about it yet. Things like that. It'll help her tremendously, I promise. But yeah, make that together. Make that together. All right, Miss Sarah Lou. Neptune in Capricorn is very structured mysticism. You are that person that your natural talents are going to lie in quantum aspects of things, quantum immortality, quantum physics, theoretical physics. Like, and I know probably when you say physics, people go, you know, they're, but it goes hand in hand with spirituality. And for this particular placement, any Neptune in Capricorn, it doesn't matter what house it's in. That's very structured mysticism. So also ritualistic magic. Being in the second house, that's energy sensitivity. So that's a lot of being very, very, that's a lot of being very sensitive to other people's shit. So we're going to look at the rest of this, but this is a lot of empathic abilities, and it's a lot of very intuitive and being very overly sensitive to other people's stuff. So you have got to have time every single day where you let that shit slide off of you. Whether it's, you know, grounding, shower, salt water, smoke cleansing, whatever it is. Where is your Kali? Kali in Scorpio, which is a death-proof energy body and extreme regeneration. And in the first house, that's a very strong astral form and natural authority. And it's tied to your sun. This is why you take so much damn damage emotionally and spiritually all the time, Sarah. Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. You're oversensitive to everybody's energy, and you try to fix them because you're an Aquarius. You try to help, and because of that Neptune in Capricorn, you have this intense energy, this very structured energy, so you can help everybody else but you. And then this right here, you can take so many fucking hits spiritually. So many hits. Like, you're like a fucking shield. No, I want to look at your Hades next. Fourth house. It's right on the line, so I wanted to make sure it really was in the fourth house. Ancestral and family shadow ties, and that's also in Aquarius, which is collective shadow. Hecate in Scorpio is death, crossings, and forbidden thresholds, and the first house is an embodied gatekeeper. Teleportation, death realm navigation. That's a lot of darker shadow placements. Your natural gifts and abilities, both spiritually and in the astral, revolve around shadow work. They revolve around shielding. They revolve around being able to protect other people from very, very nasty things spiritually. And this is why you're drawn to broken people like crazy, and you can't understand why. You have got to, first, before we go any further, you have got to have a safe spot, a safe place in your house, whether it's your bed, whether it's a bathtub, I don't care what it is. You have got to have a very safe place for you to be, to shake this stuff off, to get rid of it on a daily basis. You also need to have a process that you go through, whether it is ensuring that you do breathing exercises and then, salt spray or whatever it is. You need to come up with a specific way of handling your own energy because, ma'am, this is a lot. Somebody who is a shield, this is a lot different than a mirror. It has some of the same aspects, though, because of these dark shadow placements. If you look at a metal shield, you can see reflections, right? If you were to have a solid silver metal shield or a steel shield, you can see reflections, but you don't see it clearly, right? So you might see, if a light's shining on it, you might see the shadow of the person standing in front of you. But you're not going to see the individual features, like the color of their eyes or, each individual hair or whatever. You're just going to see the outline of them. So the problem with you being a shield is that you are going to reflect back the shadow aspects of other people. Not a mirror, but you're going to reflect that back at them. So when you have somebody in front of you that has really, really abusive, narcissistic, power hungry, like just an asshole tendencies in front of you, that's going to get mirrored back at them, and then they're going to instantly get mad at you. They're going to take things out on you, which obviously is not the right thing because you didn't do shit. It's their own stupid ass tendencies and the way that they are. But they're going to do it your entire life, and they have done it your entire life. The other thing about this is that being a shield is a lot of protective work. You're naturally good at protections. You're going to naturally be good at protections for other people first. Because with you, someone that's a shield is so used to getting the abusive end of every stick. Because the people that gets reflected back to, they take it out on you no matter what, right? It could be somebody that you work with. They sit on the whole other opposite side of the fucking building and they are like drawn to you. They keep walking by your desk. You know what I mean? You don't even deal with them. Not even the same department. But they just make it their effort to fucking fuck with you all the time. That kind of shit, right? You're like, I don't even know you. Like, why are you over here? I don't even know you. And this right here is... There you are. Okay. Is very hard to deal with. Knowing that it's a thing is going to help you. You've got to work on shielding yourself now. You have always been really, really good at, you have always been really, really good at shielding other people. Being able to take the brunt of things. I would be willing to bet that you have put yourself in front of people to take the brunt of it. That Neptune in, Capricorn down there, you're spiritually built for it. You're always going to do it. You're going to be drawn to doing it. But if you don't have the right armor and you don't have the right shielding, then you're always going to be knocked down as well. You might stand tall in the moment and until that moment is past, and then afterwards, that's when you hit the ground. So start learning about shielding, not just protection work. Protections, yes. Start learning about protections, obviously, but shielding. Shielding is a big, humongous thing. And once you start, let me tell you this too, once you start learning shielding and once you start really getting good at it, putting that shield up, that's also a lot of boundary setting. And so you're going to find suddenly that the people in your life that have been undercover siphoning that shield from you, they're going to full on see their reflection in it. And they're going to get really mad. They're going to get really mad because when you start shielding and they can no longer just freely take anything that they want. I'm just saying what I'm saying. I'm just saying what I'm saying. It's a lot. It's a lot. And they're not going to like it. That moon in Libra also makes you naturally susceptible to wanting everybody to be happy. And it's in the 11th house, your social house. So you go out of your way to make everybody else happy before you are happy. And also being an Aquarius, you overthink every little single thing that's ever done, said, etc. You have a lot of really intense placements and a lot of really, really strong placements. Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Okay? But learn to shield. Learn to shield because that protective aspect of you is always going to come out. Protection is your strong suit. It really is. And being that you have a lot of shadow placements and a lot of ancestral shadow placements, you're going to draw some of the nasties from the other side too. So you definitely need to shield against those things as well. So start learning about all the different herbs and crystals and talismans and all of those things that can help shield you from that. Create your own for you. Okay. So when you go back and listen to this and you know, okay, your Neptune's in Capricorn. Well, what herbs are associated with protections for Capricorn? And you know, your Kali is in Scorpio. What herbs are associated with that? Like, make yourself a jar with that. Does that make sense? Brett, just so I know where we're at. These are today's. Yeah, these are today's. All the ones from yesterday were done. So yeah, these are all today's. So if you were on the list for yesterday, then they are recorded on YouTube for you to see. Friend, I have pulled your chart. I'm pretty sure I have. There you are. Maybe it's just the inside of this hoodie. This is like a fleece hoodie. I got my sample hoodies from Printful, and I really, really love them. This is the one on the back. It says "Date Witches, Not Bitches," and it's got like the blue Bodhi right there. These I'm kind of impressed with. I've got t-shirts from them, but I've never gotten like hoodies before. They're thin, but they're fleece inside. Like they're the real soft inside. So I just threw this on over my tank top, y'all. Like, and I've been living in this thing. I've been living in this thing today. I got 3 of them. I got this one. I got the Ice Crush, and I got a Mandy LaFay hoodie. And yeah, I'm not mad. Like I like that the sleeves are kind of, if you don't like tight sleeves, you're gonna have to stretch them. I do. But yeah, so yeah, it's really comfortable. Like this is a medium, and it shows the love handles just a little bit. But like I like this. Like there's so much give and stretch up here. I like it. I'm gonna be ordering some more. And I feel like this is also one of those hoodies that's thin enough that I can wear it and not get overheated. Does that make sense? So yeah, I'm excited. Also, that is like the thickest ass thing right there. The hood thing too, I noticed. Check this out. It's got the thing like that. You see it? The lines. I'm gonna design some more. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Yeah. Yeah, I ordered the one that says Mandy LaFay across the front and has the big symbol in the back. You guys want to see it? I know Fran's like, I want to read my chart. Let me grab it for you, and then I'll be right back. It also gives me time to grab some Tylenol because it's about that time. So first of all, I don't know if you guys can see, I'll move my chair a little bit, but this is the date witches not bitches, which I have the sweatpants, I have a tank top, I wear it to the gym, like yeah. And then this is what the Mandy LaFay hoodie looks like on the front. And then it has the symbol on the back. Big symbol on the back. I got that one like big. And then if you get the crushed ice hoodie, I like my ice crushed hoodie. It has the symbol on the front, like Superman. And then on the back, it has the Mandy LaFay and the I like my ice crushed. And yeah, they're nice and long too. I liked that they were long. Because you know when you get a hoodie and they fit kind of short, I forgot to grab Tylenol. Sorry. When you get a hoodie and it fits kind of short. Well, I'm sorry. You're right in the way, man. I'm trying not to run over your tail. I hate that shit. I hate that shit, you know? So, all right. Okay. All right. Show and tell is over. Show and tell is over. All right. Let me get all my shit back up here. There we are. All right. Fran. Neptune and Sagittarius. I think I really need a spoon. So that's prophetic visions. And the 12th house is a permanent liminal state. This is why you never feel grounded. Because of this placement right here. You never feel grounded no matter what you do. Because this is like you are permanently in a liminal state. Permanently. I'm not going to say don't ground. I'm not going to say to stop grounding, because that's not the right thing. But it's never going to be what you need it to be. Does that make sense? So you're going to have to switch up your grounding all the time. All the time, because if you don't, it's never going to help you in the way that you need it to help you. Does that make sense? And it's tied to your Kali, which is in retrograde. So you have a problem owning your own power. Okay, so that is in Aries, which is an explosive astral force. Combat ignition, surge response, and then that third house is power through words. Okay. So that being in retrograde tells me that you have a problem finding the right things to say with spell work, with spiritual aspects. Like, you have a problem finding all the right things to say. Okay. Okay. Hades in Aquarius is collective shadow, and the second house is shadow tied to survival and self-worth. So you also never feel good enough, especially spiritually. You don't feel like you always feel like you're out of tune, and you can't ground. Ugh. Hecate is in Scorpio. Okay. I wanted to see if it was, see how it's like on the line. It was hard for me to tell if it was 10th or 11th house. So Hecate in Scorpio is death crossings and forbidden thresholds. And then the 10th house is a public gatekeeping role. That's why you're in a permanent liminal state. That's why this is like it is. Okay, where's your Pegasus? Pisces is dissolving into movement and a strong return cord. Okay. So you tend to operate in a, like I said, we're going to start with the permanent liminal space. You tend to operate there. You are naturally attuned to thresholds. I would be willing to bet that in any place that you're at, you need a window. You need a window. It's not so much that you want to see outside. It's that you feel like you're trapped if you don't have a window in a room. You got to have at least one window all the time. Am I wrong? You also are that person that you look for doors. It's not so much anxiety. You know how some people that are very anxious, they got to know where all the doors are. It's not so much that. It's that thresholds of any type, windows, doors, etc., are a safe place for you, because that's where your soul naturally sits, is in that liminal space. I would be willing to bet that you also love hallways. Like, you get fascinated with the long hallways at the mall or in a hotel or whatever, because you're comfortable there. You're comfortable in those hallways. The word thing is a problem, because you having that in retrograde means that they don't work right. That none of your words seem to work right, especially when you're doing spell work, etc. That can be overcome. Think of things beforehand and write them down. Like, get you some different, I don't really know I don't know of any books that teach a good way to do spiritual vocabulary. But learning the different terms, learning the different ways to speak about things, you know, the corners, the elements, all those things, that will help you tremendously. But having something written down that you can say all the time, that will also help you tremendously, because you do have an immense amount of power that lies in those words, which is probably why it's in retrograde and why it got shut off, because you also have a lot of intense shadow aspects when it comes to yeah, that's what I wanted, your Hades right there. I was like, wait a minute, that was your That's not what I want. Your Hades being in the second house, that is a lot of shadow that's tied to self-worth. But being an Aquarius is a collective shadow. So you tend to take on other people's self-worth issues. You are somebody that you, being a Scorpio, you can be their biggest cheerleader, but you also soak in some of their shadow self. So let's say that you have a really good friend and you are their biggest cheerleader, right? Maybe they're going through a major change in life and they just got a haircut, right? And the haircut doesn't look bad, you know, it's not the greatest haircut, but it doesn't look bad, you know? And so instead of being that person that's just like, well, you know, it'll grow out, it's just hair and all this stuff, you are her biggest cheerleader. You are her biggest cheerleader. You build her up, build her up, build her up. And she's like, yeah, without you, I don't know what I would have done. Like this, I just didn't like it and so on. It's because, it's not so much because you are the biggest cheerleader. It's because you took a lot of that on yourself. So now you feel like you can't find the right haircut ever because you soaked that in. You soaked her emotions in. So you're going to have to be very careful with that. I'm not going to say not to soak people's emotions in, but what I am going to say is you have to have a way to let them go. To recognize that those aren't your shadows that you're taking in. You know, like maybe you have a friend who is a terrible, terrible mom, right? Maybe she goes and leaves her kids at home while she's at the bar all night, whatever, every single night, right? That you're like, okay, you are a terrible mom. Like, I don't know why we're friends. But then you start feeling like a terrible mom out of nowhere because you know, were trying to help her, you know, had lunch with her, trying to help her get her cleaned up or whatever. You suddenly are taking that in and then second guessing that you're a terrible mom. And maybe you don't even have kids. You know what I mean? Like, you see what I mean? So it's that kind of stuff. Like you taking in that kind of stuff, you're going to have to recognize this is not my spiritual baggage. This is not my shadow work. Let me put it over there, right? Let me go put it on that conveyor belt and it can go right the fuck back somewhere else. So you need to have a little ritual with yourself where you need a safe word with you. Like, you know, pause. This is not mine. So that way you can have a check-in and make sure that the shadow aspects you're suddenly dealing with, because these are not going to be ones you've dealt with your entire life, that you're suddenly dealing with are actually yours and not somebody else's. And once you learn to recognize that, then A, you can let it go. And B, you can start going backwards and looking at what shadow aspects are irrational for you to have, right? So I'm going to use the example of like, if you don't have kids, but you feel like a bad mom, obviously not your shadow work, right? Like not your shadow work. If you don't have kids, you can't be a mom or be a bad mom. So that's what I'm talking about, like walking back through, but learn how to navigate what's yours and what's not yours first. This Neptune placement, I do want to talk about this again. Because that is a very intense state right there. That prophetic visions in liminal states. You tend to spend a ton of time in the astral, and you tend to spend a ton of time in that liminal state. You spend more time in that in-between phase where you're not quite in REM sleep, you're not quite in the astral, but you're not quite here. So you need to make sure you have a lot of protections over the things that live in the liminal spaces, because that is where the sleep paralysis demons reside. Like that's where you pick them up at, is in that liminal space. They want to know, why the hell are you there? You know, and oh, you must be powerful because you're there all the time. So what can I get off you? It's like they're that kind of being. Like it's just their survival, the way they survive. So you need to have something that protects you with that. My advice, easily, cheaply, under the privacy of your own roof, ward your pajamas. Turn them inside out, whether it's a t-shirt, actual pajamas, a nightgown, whatever. Turn it inside out. Get a like marker, a Sharpie marker. And I mean, if they're black pajamas, a black Sharpie will do. But if it's a light colored pajamas, look for a white marker. They have all kinds of different fabric markers is what you need. A fabric marker that's not going to wash out. But look for something like that and just ward the inside of it. Just ward the inside of it. And if you have certain things that you sleep in, that maybe you rotate through different t-shirts or whatever, Just ward them before you put them on. Y'all, that will help you right there. I should have mentioned that with Kiddo, the one I read for first. You can ward the inside of your clothes. I'll do a video. I'll do a video on it because a lot of my clothes are warded on the inside. But you can ward the insides of your clothes. And for those of you guys that travel in your sleep, for those of you guys that dream walk, for those of you guys that have bad dreams, hell, for those of you guys that just live, warding the inside of your clothes will help you. I mean, let's just say, for those of you guys that are alive listening to me right now, warding your clothes is going to be the best thing possible. Oh, good, you're still here. Yeah, ward the inside of Kiddo's pajamas. Come on, that's funny. I don't care who you are. But Fran, your talents naturally lie in being able to go back and forth. Your talents also, I'm going to talk about your Pegasus placement because it's very interesting to me. You don't really have a chosen way you get to the astral. You don't. You don't have a chosen way you get over there. You just kind of go. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. You just kind of dissolve into being there. You don't need a vessel to travel to the astral. One, you are in a constant liminal state. And two, that Pisces placement right there, that's your Pegasus, and that's how you get there. That's how you travel and where you go. You are someone who, you are a lifeline. So when you're over there, you can dissolve and go anywhere you want. And having a strong return cord, it's not so much that you go grab someone and pull them back. It's like you hook a rope on them and then they get yanked back, if that makes sense. So learning how to do that, learning how to handle that is always a good thing. There was something else I was going to say too, and my whole brain just went, you ain't saying it. I'll probably remember in a minute. Does that make sense, Fran? So you have a very unique set of gifts and abilities. Very unique set. There we go. That's what it was. I was like, I know I'm going to remember in a minute. Being in that constant liminal space, threshold work is a big thing for you. So hearth work, threshold work, and that includes everything. I don't know if you caught last night when I was talking about that, somebody that had a lot of like threshold placements. Doorways are the key to everything. And so a skeleton key would be great for you. Find an old skeleton key that actually was used to open doors, not just one that is a reproduction for looks. Find an old skeleton key. That will help you tremendously. I don't feel like you need a compass because you usually know exactly where you're going. But that skeleton key will help you with your magical practice and opening doors. You're also fantastic at road openers and opening blocks for people that are stuck. I keep forgetting to breathe, so I have to stop and be like, okay, good. Yeah, that's what I'd recommend. Alexis. I have got to find the lid for that thing. I just filled it up Monday. It's only Wednesday. And it's already gone down like 1.5 inches. Yeah, that has to happen. That has to happen. All right, Alexis. Another Neptune and Capricorn. So Leo, Gemini rising, Capricorn moon. Okay. So that Capricorn moon is your saving grace a lot. You tend to overreact immediately and then calm down. All right. Your Hades and your Kali. Okay. So we're going to look at that first. Your Neptune. 8th house is Death Veil Mastery, and this is very structured mysticism. So you are obsessed with death work, death doulas, and death deities, but you don't know how to connect to them, and you feel scattered because that placement is in retrograde. And your Kali is in Libra, which is very balanced, so that goes very well with that Capricorn placement. And in the 5th house is a very creative or intentional astral amplification. Ancestral, underworld, and grief realms. Girl, you're a death doula. Holy shit. Shadow tied to survival and worth. That is where your natural gifts and abilities lie, right there. No, I don't want to look at Pegasus yet. I want to look at Hecate. Locks and warded gates. And the veil thinning. You also have a lot of natural mediumship abilities. Slow grounded travel. And a group grid walker. Interesting. Okay. So you have a couple of very, very unique. As you said, you were obsessed with Anubis and hell. Okay. Yeah, you are naturally tied to underworld deities. I would bet that all of them, you naturally can connect with them because of that 8th house placement right there, and that moon being in Capricorn. So here's the thing, that helps balance you out a lot. That being in Capricorn, your moon and your Neptune, those are both very powerful placements, especially when it comes to dealing with the death deities and underworld deities and so on, because they don't act out of emotion. They don't. They're very structured. They're very hardcore with stuff. They know that eventually everyone will come see them. Do you see what I'm saying? They don't have to rush, and they don't have to do anything. They don't have to hunt. They don't have to do any of that. That's why they're so patient. Now, does it mean that they don't get mad? No, but it means that they're not like hotheads. Like, you know, when you think of Zeus, you think of like hot-headed kind of, you know, when you think of Aries, you think of hot-headed, like things like that. When you think of Tyr, you think of hot-headed, etc. But Tyr isn't really as hot-headed. Maybe Thor, but you know what I'm saying. Underworld deities, however, are much different. They will simply fucking sit back and be like, you know what? Like, I'm just going to wait, because eventually you're going to be right here. So you're naturally tuned in to talk to them. You're naturally tuned in to work with them. With this ancestral placement right here, this is your Hades. And this one right here is very intense. And that's why I said that this was the other aspect with the Kali being over here in Libra. That's a very balanced energy. Death doula work is going to be fantastical for you. It just is. It's going to be fantastical for you. If you want to. Let me say that. If you want to. Guys, just because I say, hey, you're really good at this, you're really good at this, you're really good at this, you may go, absolutely not. You know what I mean? And that's fine. But you're naturally attuned to it. I will say this, that doing doula work like that, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard here. It's very, very heavy here. Because that is constantly dealing with grieving families. Constantly. It's a lot. Okay? Those two Taurus placements, though. Those two Taurus placements. That is a lot of slow, grounded travel. And this one right here is a group grid walker. So you are also naturally talented at grids. Naturally talented at grids. Make a grid for you to use to travel, because that is going to make you more powerful. It's just like Have you ever played a video game where you have a character that makes a glyph or something on the ground and steps into it and is transported? That's literally you. That's literally you. So make yourself a grid, a glyph, like have a grid in your home, all of those things. Grids are going to be phenomenal, powerful things for you. So learning sacred geometry, utilizing the different types of sacred geometry in your grids. Spirals are going to be a massive thing for you. Fractals are also going to be something fantastic for you to work with. Your Hecate placement. This is being able to thin the veil anywhere you go and then lock it behind you. So this is a really cool gift to have because it means that you're going to get into places that most people can't go. You're going to be able to, whether it's sneaking in or just going in, being welcomed in, you're going to be able to go to places in the astral and even here. I would guarantee if you think back through your life that there's probably been times when you've been allowed to go, into places that you weren't supposed to be. Like maybe you went to a concert and you weren't really supposed to be backstage because you didn't have a pass, but suddenly there you are. Like you got invited to go, you know what I mean? Things like that. I guarantee you that if you really think about it, you're going to be like, yeah, I really wasn't supposed to be there. Wasn't supposed to be there. Wasn't supposed to be there. And there's going to be other times where you were the last person across that threshold. Oh, now we're full. Alexis is in here now we're full. You can't come in. Like things like that. So it's really an interesting gift. Happens all the time. It's really an interesting gift to have. I would make sure that if you go anywhere, traveling with friends, physically, like going to places, or if you do any spiritual work with other people or things like that, you need to be the last one through that door. You can open the door and hold it open for them, but you need to be the last one through that door, because if not, you run the risk of that door closing on somebody and either leaving them outside, leaving them trapped, or leaving them somewhere. So make sure, and I would start doing this practice in real life, right? You be the one to hold the door open, let them go in, and then you are the last one in and you close that door. It's a natural talent and it will make people feel safe out of nowhere. They'll be like, oh, I really feel good in here. Like they'll feel safe automatically because you did that. Because that is an intense talent. I know that sounds like a weird, intense talent, but being able to calm a location, calm a situation, like paranormally, let's say that you start doing paranormal investigations, you always being the last one in and closing the door, that is a sign like that threshold is sealed and no one else can go across that, good or bad. Spirits are in, spirits are in. Spirits are out, sorry about you. Like, I don't know what to tell you. It usually happens when you're with a group. Uh-huh. Yeah, be the last one in. Be the last one in. Did that explain some stuff? I have really enjoyed, reading these for people that I know. My kid, Sass, my son, things like that. I can see those gifts in other people, so it's really funny to me. So for you guys to be like, oh my God, I do that all the time. Just saying. Just saying. Good, I'm glad it helps. Good, I'm glad it helps. Hey, Becca. No, not really. This is not a full birth chart read. Those are next week, but this is magical placements in your charts. So, no, yeah, no, yes and no. I mean, astrology, yes, but birth charts, no. All right, so we still have Senta, Carrie, Sally. I have to look. Make these things skip around. Karina, Michelle, Mike, Brett, Alexis M, Charlie. Why won't you let me? It won't let me sort it by day. Piece me off. Piece me off. All right, Senta is next. I had to look. I have to pay attention because it didn't sort them by date like it normally does. It's just everybody's in the same list, so I have to be like, oh wait, that's not correct. Hold on, because I don't want somebody to think that their chart read is today, and then it's not. It's tomorrow, but I did it today because I can't read. We'll just call it what it is because of user error. All right, Senta. How are you, by the way? Gemini, Aquarius moon, Aquarius rising. Okay. Another Capricorn in retrograde. I want to look at this first, but this Capricorn in retrograde in the 11th house. The 11th house is a dream walker. It's a collective dreamer position. But it's in retrograde. That is structured mysticism is what Capricorn Neptune is, very ritualistic, but it's in retrograde. But your Kali is in Taurus, which is a near indestructible form. There's a lot of astral stamina and endurance. And then you have in the 3rd house, which is power through words and intent. Okay. So, Senta, let's talk about this because this is also tied in. Hold on, let's look at your Pegasus too real quick. Pegasus in Aquarius is dimensional jumps. In the 12th house. Unconscious mastery. So you travel without knowing you travel. You travel without knowing that you travel. Not only do you travel without knowing that you travel, but I would bet that you randomly find yourself in people's dreams without knowing that you did it. So you don't mean to dream walk. You just have this natural gift and ability and you can't control it. The fact that that's tied in with your Kali down here in Taurus, this is a really intense placement. It's like you find yourself. Okay, let me get my words right. You find yourself in the weirdest places in the dream state. And when I say you travel without realizing you travel, you do. You dream walk without realizing you dream walk. You dream more than you travel. I don't think that you travel as much as you think you do. I think the vast majority of it is dreams. Now, here's the thing that comes with dream walking that people don't realize. When we talk about dream walking, that is going into someone else's dream, whether it's on purpose or accident. Most dream walkers don't realize that they're a dream walker until they're a later adult, right? Like 30s, 40s, etc. And they realize that there's a pattern of people saying, "Oh, you were in my dream last night." And then they start to tell you about their dream and you're like, "Holy shit, like I was in the same dream. Like what the fuck, you know?" It takes a while unless you have somebody that can tell you early, like, "Dude, you're a dream walker." So one of the side effects that comes with being a dream walker, let's say that you dream walk into somebody's dream and then they go to the astral in their sleep and they pull you with them. You might not land in the same place they do because they didn't mean to take you with them. You didn't mean to be in their dream. So suddenly you find yourself in some crazy place in the astral. And now you're scattered, right? That's why you have this kind of nearly indestructible astral form, because you end up getting pulled over there a lot. This right here, being able to dream walk on purpose, you can fix that because, well, you can't do it on purpose right now because that placement is in retrograde. But you can fix that. It's going to take practice. It's going to take a lot of discipline, a lot of practice, and a lot of time. But you can fix that just by practicing on purpose. Hades is in Libra, which is meditating between light and dark. And it's in the 8th house, which is death realm access, natural cycle pump. It's also... you're being kept out of the underworld for some reason. You're being kept out. That's why you have to piggyback on people. That's how your soul, okay. That's how your soul gets around it. For some reason, you... service-based threshold work. Ancestral and domestic thresholds. Okay. Here's your back door. Something keeps you from the astral. Your natural gift and ability is dream walking, and you're being kept from it. I don't know if this is some ancestral thing. I'm not going to say that because I don't have your Saturn in this chart. That's a whole other thing. But with this right here, I'm going to say it probably is. That there's you probably had an ancestor that abused dream walking. So let me pause and say this. For those of you guys out there that are unscrupulous with dream walking, which they're probably never going to see this video, but that's fine. For people that are unscrupulous dream walkers, you're going to fuck yourself and all the future generations that come after you. If you use that in a way to hurt people, that gift and ability will be yanked from you. It will be yanked from you. You will be given false dreams that you're going into. You might think that you're dream walking. You're going to go over to this person's dream and you're going to fuck them all up and so on and so forth. But you're not. You're in a false dream state. You might think that you're powerful and you're doing all this shit to them, but you're not. You're getting your ability siphoned and yanked away. When people use dream walking for bad shit, it's one thing if that person, let's say that's like a Jeffrey Epstein level person over there, right? Go for it. Okay? Go for it, right? But if you use it just because you don't like Sheila down the road, or you don't like Shelly at your job, so you're like, oh my God, fuck with her. That is not the right reason to use that. The things over there, the powers that govern all of those gifts and abilities and stuff, they will yank that from you. What they will do is they will create a false dream construct. I love hate tomatoes, and that you get a piece of tomato stuck everywhere. They will create a false dream construct. And when they do, they will put your target there. And they will let you do whatever it is that you think you're going to do to that target. Maybe it's, beating the shit out of them in the astral. Or maybe it's stopping their heart, like, or, whatever it is, right? They'll let you do that. And what they're doing is they're siphoning that gift and ability off from you. They are taking it from you bit by bit by bit. And the more you do it, the stronger that siphon becomes. So then it gets to the point, they give you all this false hope, this false power, basically. So you can't wait to go do it again, right? You feel super powerful. You're fucking with this person because you don't like them and so on. They're taking your ability. Like the things that govern the astral, the universe, etc., you're never going to see them. I'm never going to see them. Nobody's ever going to see them. But they're sure as shit going to be like, okay. And so if you keep doing it, what happens is, and I'm not lecturing Senta, so please don't think that. But if you keep doing that, what happens is it starts to bleed over into your life, because eventually your gift is gone. Eventually your gift is gone. So when you go over there and you think you're dream walking and you think that you're, trouncing this person over there, it starts to take from you physically, emotionally, mentally. You're going to start to watch all of your relationships fall apart one by one by one. Your mental health will fall apart. Your physical health will fall apart. Your financial health will fall. Like it just everything. Everything. And it's not all at once. It's just little by little by little. Maybe you get some mystery illness. Nobody knows what's going on with you. You start to just, maybe you have someone get a hold of your bank account and they start siphoning off little bits of money. And by the time you catch it, it's like thousands of dollars and you can't get it back because you didn't catch it. I mean, do you see what I'm saying? Like, they start to siphon all that off, but it doesn't take very long of you to abuse dream walking and you get that gift yanked. And then if, let's say that you've passed that down to your kids, they can take that gift back. This is why so many people have amazing ancestral talents and they can't use them. And the reason I explained that, Senta, is because you have had your dream walking cut off. That, to me, would be some type of ancestral aspect. So somebody used it for something not so good and fucked it up for everybody else. Oh, it just takes one. It just takes one. So that's what I would, that's my personal view of this. However, I think that you have learned ways around it, right? You have learned how to, or someone has gifted you, we'll say that. You've been gifted the ability of being able to piggyback on people to the astral. And it's not a bad thing. And some people are going to say, well, I don't want to be piggybacking on me. Well, what if that person is over there doing a lot of good? What if they're over eradicating the stupid paralysis demons that come back? Bitch, you can hitch a ride anytime. If you would like to eradicate those bitches, I'm down. Come on, I will take you. You know, like, I will happily take you. So think about it in that way, right? I personally, Senta, would recommend getting a karmic reading with that placement, with your Hecate placement, and your Saturn and your Neptune and stuff like that, and finding out what it is that's gone on and so on and so forth. There are other asteroid placements that you can look at with ancestors and things like that. And I would, that's what I would recommend. Okay. Because this is intense, right? This is really, really intense. You have amazing gifts and you're being kept from them, in other words. Spiritually, here is one of the biggest talents. You're almost indestructible. You're almost indestructible. So you could be a shield, you can be a protector, you can be, you know, a warrior, whatever it is that you want to do. You are almost indestructible. Almost. Nobody is completely indestructible over there, but almost indestructible. Way more so than most people. So. Everybody's mind be blown right now, yeah? Alright, Carrie is next. So Carrie F. Have I pulled your chart, Carrie? I feel like I have. No, I haven't. Okay. There we are. I got the eye twitch today. Oh, it's fun. It's fun. That's really gorgeous. That's really gorgeous. This design right here in the middle. That's really gorgeous. All right, all right, all right. Neptune. So Aries Sun, which is almost in line with your descendant. Interesting. Aries descendant. Libra rising. Cancer moon. Oh, you take everything so personally. You take everything so personally. It's all right. Girl, you're so in tune ancestrally. That Neptune placement right there, Aquarius is collective and future sight, and that 4th house placement is ancestral visions. Where's your colleague? Death-proof energy body, extreme regeneration. Power led to boundaries, and that's in retrograde. So you should be one of those spiritual people that can take a lot of damage, but you're not. You take all the damage, and you feel every bit of it. And you have a problem setting energetic boundaries. So that tells me that you're super empathic and you're super intuitive. You are super fucking empathic. Hades in Aquarius is collective shadow. And the 5th house, creative shadow. Aquarius is also future collapse timelines. Okay. Dimensional jumps and intentional mastery. Cosmic gateways and energetic boundaries. Oh, girl. Okay. We gotta talk. We gotta talk. Carrie, you're so empathic, it's not even funny. You're so empathic, it's not even funny. It hurts you to go places. It hurts you to go to, I would bet it hurts you to go to the fucking movies. It hurts you to go to the hospital, for good or bad, for babies or someone getting hurt. It hurts you to go to the grocery store. It hurts you to go to work. Like, it hurts you. You are so empathic, and you have all of your natural gifts and abilities that should be, you should have this almost indestructible spiritual self, but you don't. And so you feel indestructible, and you go and do these things, and then you realize that you don't have that, right? The thing about this is that you being so empathic, you also have some interesting shadow aspects right here. And you have a deep tie with the ancestors with that, and with your moon. You 100% are somebody that you are naturally in tune with ancestors no matter where you go, and they know it. And so when you, let's say you go camping or you're hiking or anything like that, and you come across, you know, someplace that a long time ago, or you go, well, let me not say it that way, because that's not really, that doesn't happen as much anymore. You go to a hotel, old hotel, or a house, or something like that, paranormal location, haunted place, etc. You're naturally in tune with all of the ancestors that ever lived there. So let's say that you go to a place that has been, you know, an old location, same family has lived there for 5 generations. That's a lot of ancestors. That's a lot of ancestors on that single location. You're going to be so naturally in tune with it. You're going to feel like it's so fucking loud there that you can't sit. You, at graveyards, feel like it's so loud that you can't function. You can't think. Churches, hospitals, all of that. It's so loud to you. And it's not so much the mediumship abilities that you have. You do have them. And I would hone them. I would work on them and hone them, because that'll help you. But it's the fact that you're so in tune, and the fact that you're so empathic, that draws them to you. That's partially why I said you should work on mediumship skills and abilities and learning those things, because that will help you channel some of that information safely instead of it just bombarding you. And it will give you like a funnel, like this is all I have time for. This is all I can do and handle today, and we'll talk about this tomorrow, etc. But it will give you protections. It will help you put all that shielding in place. Why do I keep seeing you walking around cemeteries? Why do I keep seeing you walk around cemeteries, ma'am? I think actually that's a good training ground for you is cemeteries, because you're not specifically tied to any of those ancestors. You're not specifically tied. I would definitely go to cemeteries where you don't have an ancestral tie. But that's a good place for you to go use a spirit box and speak to the ones there that want to speak to you. But start honing your mediumship skills and abilities. Not so much, to be out in the world with it, because that's hard and you're bombarded all the time, and you're already bombarded all the time. I mean, maybe that's what you want to do. I don't know. But start learning mediumship skills and abilities. Start doing all of that. You need to learn ways to defend yourself, because with that really deep, intense, empathic ability and being able to just be in tune with all those ancestors, there's also a shadow side to that. And since you have no protections that you should have, those shadow sides are going to hit you harder than they're going to hit other people that have normal empathic abilities. And I would almost guarantee you that in the last couple of years, 3, 4, 5 years specifically, you have gotten to where you absolutely hate to go anywhere, because you've always had this really intense empathic ability. And now it's even more so because the veil is way less, and everybody who's empathic doesn't know how to function anymore. Like, everybody has to get their big kid pants on and learn their own ways of protection. And so that's what's going on. That's what's going on. But you are so empathic. It's not even funny, girl. So empathic. That can be used in a lot of ways. Why did I just see you touching things? Like, you touch people and you know things. You touch things and you know things. That's a really cool type of mediumship skill and ability. I would hone that. That also goes naturally in with these abilities. I will say that those gorgeous triangles in the middle, that is a phenomenal thing for you to use. Triangles are a great way to travel. They're a great way to channel energy, pyramids, etc. You can find crystals cut into pyramids, resin pieces that people have made, origami. I know it's not origami. You know what I'm saying. Oregon, those type of things. Have one made for you. The little copper pyramids, all of that jazz. So, yeah, does that make sense? My phone is going off like crazy. That's why I paused for it. I'm so sorry. I have all these events coming up and think, oh, what did I just do? Oh, shitty shit, I fucked it. Okay. It's not supposed to rain here today, but the wind has been a little crazy. That's the trash peoples. All right. So we did Carrie. So Lindsay is on the 6th. So Sally is next. Sally, I'm pretty sure I pulled your chart. Haven't I? Boy, that is a... How have I not pulled your chart? What? Okay. I could have sworn I pulled yours. Damn it. What are they doing out there? Damn. Tearing up the trash cans. Tearing up the trash cans. Neptune and Sagittarius. It's barely in the 12th house. Neptune and Sagittarius is prophetic visions. So that is a lot of clairvoyance. That's a lot of prophetic dreams. The 12th house is, let me make sure first. Hold, please. Yes. Okay. I was like, wait. Let me make sure. No. That is a permanent liminal state. So you basically have a one-way mirror in a liminal state. So you have prophetic dreams, but you don't go into the dream. You seem to watch from a safe distance. Okay. That means you can focus on details more than other people that are in the prophetic dream. Okay. Okay. Of course, it's going to be the last one I click on. So you, with what I just talked about with the prophetic dreams and being able to watch from a safe distance, you need to make sure that you have a recording structure in place when you come back. Turn on your voice recorder or, voice text or whatever, and say as much as you can remember immediately. Like, get it out. Like, I was standing in a hallway and I was watching, somebody plant corn or whatever. And, get the main theme out and then get everything else done, right? Okay, they had on blue overalls. They had on a blue plaid shirt. They had on a corn, I don't know, straw hat. That will help you pull back more details, if that makes sense, because you have a unique gift. Being able to watch from a safe distance like that means that you are given more details because you can pay attention to them more. It's not you're given more. You just can pay attention to them more. Because think about it. If you're in the moment, like if you're outside right now and you're, in a park, and you're watching everything around you, and you got to constantly turn around and look over here and look over there and so on. You're only going to see what you're paying attention to right then. But if you're watching somebody on a movie screen in a park, you're seeing all around them, right? So then you can see, oh, there's a squirrel coming up behind you. Oh, there's a bird going to come and steal your stuff because you're not looking. Do you see what I mean? So you're given access to way more information in that prophetic dream because you can see all of it. Does that make sense? So that's a really cool gift. Okay, so we're going to look at your Kali right now. That is in Pisces. Okay. So that is infinite but diffuse power. Okay. And in the second house, energetic boundaries. And being a Pisces, that's interesting. I would bet you can kind of send out like an energy pulse. Am I right? Like I would play with this. You ready for this? I would play with this ability. The next time that you're in public and you're in a crowded place, look at me getting excited. This is a fun ability to play with. The next time that you're out and about in public and you're, where you're in a crowd or you have people standing around you or whatever, mentally just kind of ground yourself really deeply to whatever floor you're standing on, and then see if you can send out an energy pulse and see if you can push people away from you. See if you can make people shift. Like, you're looking for little things at first, like, just a shift like that away from you, a step forward. Like, see if you can do that. I would bet you can. And I would bet, it's going to take you some practice to really amplify it. But the first time, I'm over here giggling, the first time you notice that, it's going to give you such a confidence boost, and it's going to show you this placement right here. You have an amazing amount of spiritual power, Kundalini power, but it's very diffuse everywhere. So you being able to pull it in and ground yourself and do that, I'm just saying what I'm saying. I'm just saying what I'm saying. I'll look at your Hecate next because I noticed that this one's in retrograde. So Libra is ethical or karmic gates, and the 9th house is spiritual initiations. You have a problem figuring out what you want to do spiritually and where you want to go. Okay, I get it. Okay. Hades, your Hades placement. Your shadow is visible in the astral form and to the collective shadow. Okay. You consciously can astral project and astral travel. And you can jump different things. Okay. You, if you wanted to, could easily be able to do time magic, to do portal magic and time magic. I would recommend finding somebody that can teach you that. I would also recommend making sure that you are very firm in your grounding techniques and very firm in your protection techniques. But being able to do time magic and things like that are amazing because it allows you to slow down things, speed up things, move things, etc. Not quite like Quicksilver in the X-Men, but this is a great gift to have, especially in workings. You feel like a dud no matter how much you've tried because of this placement right here. It's because of this placement right here, because that's in retrograde. That is your Hecate, and that's in retrograde. So you always feel like you don't have enough energy or spell work or concentration or whatever, because this is karmic gates, ethical karmic gates, and then spiritual initiations. So you feel like you can't do things. You can. You're really good at them. You just feel like you can't because you're kept out of doing it the way that everybody brags about, right? Oh, I hopped a train and rode to the astral and got off at the market and did it. Like, you can't do that. And then you get frustrated because you can't do that. No, you can't do it in the way that other people do because you naturally do it without even thinking about it. You are way more powerful than you realize. You are way more powerful than you give yourself credit for. And being a Pisces, you're automatically overthinking all of that. Where was your moon again? Sagittarius. Yeah, you're automatically overthinking that. And a Capricorn rising. So you're always fighting with yourself about not feeling good enough and not feeling like you're in tune spiritually and so on. I want you to listen very, very, very carefully to me, okay? These placements right here are very intense. Just because you can't travel in a certain way doesn't mean that you can't travel. Just because your power is diffuse like that, it's very, spread out basically, doesn't mean that you don't have a crazy intense amount of power. Like that, this placement down here, this is almost unlimited power. It's just spread out. So you just have to learn to pull it in. And I want you to think of it like you have all of your power, your spiritual power, in different accounts. Like if you had money in all these different bank accounts, you have spiritual power in all these different accounts. So if you need to do something big, you just got to move it all to one account. That's all you got to do. Just move it all to one account. I want you to start thinking of it in that way because that's also in your second house, which is, astrologically the money house. So if you start thinking of it in that way and look at it, in a real world scenario, it's much easier because we all understand if you have stuff in savings and you need to pay a bill out of checking, you got to move money from savings to put it in checking, right? If you have money in your checking and, maybe you don't want somebody yanking it, you put it in savings, right? Do you see what I'm saying? So, just saying. Just saying. Just saying. I emailed you January 28th that I was going to do your cards. Oh, hey, Teresa. Yeah. Yes. I was like making sure. I was like, if I actually talk to you, or is that a scammer? Yeah. Just move it all into one account. Just move it all into one account. One account. I'm gonna put that in air quotes, but you know what I'm saying. That way you can get everything done. It's gonna be great. I think that you're gonna find just by doing that your spiritual self is going to blossom and grow at an exponential rate. I'm just saying. Does that make sense? Yeah. All right, I got to take a tiny little potty break real quick because that is making me have to go do the potty things. So I'll be right back. Y'all have like, I don't know, what? A minute? Y'all have a minute? Oh, what did I just do? I clicked on something and everything flashed. All right, let me take this. Let me not run over the cat because he feels like he needs to lay right there on my feet. Yeah, we definitely got to find the lid to that. We definitely got to find the lid to that aquarium because, woo! All right. Damn, Gina. You are so welcome. I'm glad that helped. I'm glad that helped. Yeah, I had Brett and I have been talking about aquarium stuff. At Christmas, Petco had their full like cool tall 10-gallon aquarium kits on sale, like goods like $30. I think it was $33, and it was everything, right? So I bought a couple of them because I was like, you know, I like the sound of water. I can't have my big fountain in this house, like things like that. So I did that, and I let them sit for a while. Finally, you know, went and got a couple betas and some little cute little teeny tiny fishes and, you know, things like that. Well, when I went in to get these other little fishes, I was really wanting to get like the little sucker fish. And they didn't have any because it was after Christmas and, you know, they didn't have any. So I ended up getting some planty plants, some more plants. And I bought some bulbs, underwater bulbs, because I have the substrate in there because I have plants growing in mine. Like that's what I wanted them for, was aquatic plants. I didn't really intend to have fish. Here we are. I planted these bulbs in 2 aquariums and ended up getting fucking massive algae blooms. So bad. Both, just like, boom. it was no matter what I did, I ended up having to spend about 2.5 hours per fucking aquarium for both of them, cleaning them, scrubbing them, sanding, like all. Oh, I was so fucking mad, y'all. I was so fucking mad. Still mad. And even though I spent all that time doing that, I have one aquarium that now is getting another one. And I don't know how. So, I mean, I assume that I didn't do a good enough job. But it has been fine. And then just suddenly, bam. And I'm like, motherfucker. So I'm going to end up moving my beta. I have a blue and white beta. He's blue and he's got white fins. And his name is Finn. And then I have a little gold tetra in there. And his name is Jake. So we have Finn and Jake. So I'm going to move Finn and Jake to the other aquarium today and clean that out. I did buy some, Brett. I need to go get some suckerfish. Might do that tomorrow. I gotta be out. Because like it's really starting to piss me off. Y'all ever have that day where you're just so thirsty that you have 4 drinks? Because you can't make up your mind. You know, you want coffee, but you also want like a little tiny bit, the last bit of Pepsi that you have in there. And then you also want the raspberry tea that you love. And you also know that you should drink water. So... Some bitch. Dumb bitch. Alright. Okay, that's funny and not funny, Karina. Your husband's son hates you. Like, I carry this thing around. I always have either this one or Scarly brought me a massive one from Buc-ee's. And then my kid took the straw, and I can't find the straw, but that's okay. I always have one of those with water. And then I always have, you know, other shit. Alright. Let's see who. Oh. I just fucked that up. Hold on. I grabbed the wrong thing and made it bigger. It's not what I meant to do. There we go. There we go. Let me see who's next on my list. Cassandra. I know I pulled Cassandra's. Oh, I didn't mean to do that twice. Okay. I was like, oh no! How did we do it twice? You know, that's a good idea, Charlie. I actually have a couple of small Lazy Susans. I have a huge one like this big around. That's the electric one where they use the electric current and they burn the stuff in it and then do it with resin. I have one like that. And then I have some other... Oh my god, I have so many. I just realized. I went through a phase. I have 2 white marble ones. I have 2 black ones that have kind of a bowl in the middle. And then I have 2 small wood ones. Oh my god, I have a problem. I'm sitting there thinking too, like, I never used them. The big one I bought for the shop. Shit. Okay. Alright. Okay. Cassandra. And Neptune and Capricorn in retrograde. structured mysticism and permanent liminal space. Liminal state, excuse me. But it's in retrograde. And that's your Hades. Which is repair focused diagnostic shadow work. And death realm access in retrograde. So you want to do ritual magic, you want to do structured things, but you can't. You get super scattered, super scatterbrained. You want to do a lot of fixing with yourself shadow work wise, but you never can because you get scattered. Okay. Interesting. Guardian instinct, shielded power, and protective aura is what your Kundalini energy is, and then that being in the 7th house, you're a mirror. And that being tied into this, so you are that person that people either instantly love or they instantly hate because you are a mirror, except you aren't that person that, you are not that person that you mirror other people's gifts and abilities and stuff like that. You are the one that you mirror their shadow back to them. They instantly see, I got the hiccups now. They instantly see shadow in you. So they see their shadow in you and they project that onto you. Oh, my nose is itching. Ugh, somebody's talking about me, son of a bitch. Stop it. Okay. So that's a very creative aspect, creative ritual gates. And that being in Gemini is crossroads of information and choice. Then you have your Pegasus, which is tied in with both of those. In Aries, that is explosive travel, first responder, and dream walking. My friend, I would say that you're a shadow walker. You do a lot of dream walking naturally. And I think that yours isn't so much you go into specific people's dreams. I think that you just have a natural talent to just skip dreams. You start in one dream, go into another, go into another, go into another. And I don't even think that you know the people that you're going into their dreams. But I would be willing to bet that you've had a lot of times in your life where people have been like, oh my God, you were in a dream of mine and I don't even know who you are. Like they meet you and they look at you weird. And then later on, they're like, when I met you, you had been in a dream of mine. So you have this natural ability to just, and it's not like you do it maliciously or on purpose even. This is where you have a ton of dreams that maybe you're in a house, you open a door to go out of that room and suddenly you're in a completely different house. And you're like, okay, odd. You open a door to go outside, a different house. Like instead of going from the kitchen to the hallway or the living room to the bathroom or whatever, it's like, boop, different house. Or maybe you walk past a tree out in a forest and then, boop, you're on a beach. Like you just do that. You just skip around. That's a really awesome gift to have. It really and truly is. That's a unique type of dream walker. Instead of having to just particularly go into people's dreams that you know or that you can channel, being able to just do that, it means, and that Aries placement being a first responder, you are somebody that you naturally go in and pull people out of nightmares. You've probably shown up in a lot of people's nightmares. And I don't mean in the astral, I mean dreams. Like in the dream world, you have pulled people out of nightmares. Y'all, there's a big difference between the dream world and the astral. A big, big difference. And people tend to get them confused. The astral is a whole other plane of existence. Like beings live there. They exist there. Whereas in dreams, that is a dream state. It's completely different. It is a different spiritual topic altogether, right? But what's interesting about that is that this being tied into the 2 retrograde placements that you have, your Neptune, being scattered instead of being able to knuckle down and have a lot of ritualistic, magic and things like that. And then also wanting to do a lot of rescue work but can't. You do it naturally. You don't realize you do. We talked about your Kali. Where's your Pegasus? That is not. Yes, it is. I'm sorry. We were just talking about your Pegasus. Oh, my brain hurts already. Your Hecate placement. Okay. Is that Misty Dawn? Girl, I would love to see where your Hecate placement is. So this is Gemini, which is crossroads. We talked about this. Crossroads of information and choice. And then ritual or creative or ritual gates. Okay. Cassandra, I really hope that you paint. I really hope that you paint. And it doesn't even have to be realism. I really hope that you paint. I would bet that fluid paintings speak to you. That you really love fluid paintings because it reminds you of being able to like drift through dream states. You're a very powerful dream walker, whether you realize you are or not. You're a very powerful dream walker. And I say powerful because of being able to naturally switch places without really trying. Without really trying. Having that Aries placement down here, this one right here that we just talked about, that is a travel placement. You also travel between the dream realm and the astral plane without blinking. You are one of those people that you have such weird dreams. They're not really dreams, but you have such weird dreams. You think you're in a dream, and then suddenly you're like, this is not a dream. This is not a dream. How am I here? You go seamlessly back and forth between the dream world and the astral, and you will pull people from either one back and forth all the time like that. Learn about dream walking, learn about what protections you need to have, learn about what you can do with that gift and ability, learn about how to help people. I mean, learn about it. There's starting to be more and more out there about it. It used to be something that was kind of hush-hush talked about in a lot of the native tribes and so on, where I grew up. I don't know about where other people grew up, but where I grew up in Oklahoma and Colorado and stuff. But in Oklahoma, it's definitely like a hush-hush topic. You don't talk about it very much because, unfortunately, dream walking is one of those powers that corrupts. You have to have very strong morals and very strong ethics to handle it. Because it's too easy to slip into anybody's dreams. It's too easy to slip into, any of that stuff. The good thing about the rise of witch talk and all that is that people, no matter what you do, who you are, what your ethics are, their protections have gotten tremendously bigger. So if y'all are worried about unethical dream walkers, and you should be, because they're out there in a rampant number, protections. Learn how to protect yourself. So Cassandra, you need to learn about dream walking, and you need to learn about how to protect yourself from dream walkers and so on. Because just like you go into some people's dreams, they can come into yours as well. The other thing about being a dream walker, especially the ones where you can just kind of open a door and be in another house and things like that, is that you are going to come across other dream walkers, and they will recognize you. If they're a talented one, if they've been doing it a long time, they're going to recognize that you're not in a dream state, or that they're not in the astral or whatever. They're going to recognize that you are another dream walker and you just walked into something they're doing, which means that you could possibly walk into a dream where somebody's doing some shit that they're not supposed to. So now they know what you look like, and they can find you in your dreams. So if you're a dream walker, if you have natural gifts and abilities, then you need to take steps to absolutely protect yourself. I'm just saying. But Cassandra, learn all about it. Learn about it. Learn protections. So yeah. I find it so interesting. Like, there's been so many Neptune and Capricorns today. So many. And like yesterday, I'm trying to remember what it was yesterday. It was something completely different yesterday that I was noticing. So Karina, Michelle, Mike, Brett, Alexis M. There was one more, wasn't there? Sharlon. Okay. I hate that this isn't sorting like it should. Like, it's pissing me off. It's pissing me off. I am pretty sure that I have pulled Karina's birth chart. I find these so damn fascinating, it's not even funny. They wear me out. They wear my brain out. But I find them... How have I not pulled your chart? Am I crazy? Was it Caps in retrograde yesterday? Okay. How have I not pulled your chart, Karina? I'm having one of those moments where I'm feeling crazy, because I could swear that I pulled your chart. I could swear that there are a couple of charts today that I know I have pulled. Tired of switching timelines. Fucking stupid. So I did one for your artwork. Then why isn't it in here? I know I didn't do it live that day, but... It should be in here. That's the thing. Like, it should be in here. Hate it here. I hate it here. All right. So a Gemini with a Leo rising and a Virgo moon. That's interesting. So you naturally can't make up your mind, and then your rising wants to act on both the things that you... So let's say you have an A choice and a B choice. You actively go back and forth because you can't make up your mind, and the Leo part of you wants to act on both of them, and then the Virgo part of you wants to act on neither one of them and is going to overthink both of them. And of course, there's it. Oh yeah, it's the years. Another retrograde. That's the other thing I find interesting. So your Neptune is in Capricorn in retrograde. In the 5th house. So Capricorn is structured mysticism, but because it is in retrograde, you are that crazy, scattered, and this being in a creative sign, and this is creative prophecy, I'm just gonna let you off the hook right now. You will never ever be able to master parts of magic that are super uber structured. It will always piss you off. Being a Gemini and having an almost a Neptune rising, having a Leo rising, you will never be able to hyper focus on the ritualistic aspects of magic that are required for like some of those things. That being said, that's a lot of freedom. Knowing that you don't have to worry about that, because trying to get into ritualistic magic and trying to remember all the steps and do all the things correctly takes a ton of training, a ton of time, like all of that. You're definitely a chaotic practitioner. Definitely a chaotic practitioner. So where's your Kali? Let's find your Kali. I hate that they're all the same thing. I can't change them. I tried. So your Kali is in Leo, which is a commanding presence and radiant dominance. And it's in the 12th house, and that's this massive power which requires strict containment. Okay, so you have to be really careful. Remember how I just said that you're a chaotic practitioner? You're going to have to be really, really careful that you don't allow that chaos to grow too much. Chaos witches are really, really strong because they work with both sides. They work in the gray. And they thrive on chaos. They thrive on the energy that comes with the chaos. So spells that you do that create a chaotic environment or create chaos to feed off of are always going to be intensely powerful for you. You are going to have to be careful because of that placement right there. That is where your Kundalini power lies, and where your magical, the well of energy lies from that. That is massive, massive power. You're going to have to be very careful that it doesn't overwhelm you, because it will, and it will burn you out, like mentally, emotionally, physically. It will burn you out. So you have to be really careful with that because of that placement. My recommendation is that you make a promise to you, and you are the only one that can keep you, on this promise. But make a promise to you that you will never do anything when you're emotional, because with that Leo rising aspect, if you're emotional with it, it's going to add even more. And the fact that that placement is in Leo, it's going to just amplify that. So if you do any type of workings when you're emotional, you run the risk of that massive power being utilized too much and then overwhelming the working to where, it would be like if you need to just go light, a little chimenea fire outside, right? You just want to light a little tiny chimenea fire and just sit there and enjoy the fire, right? But instead you light dynamite. Do you see what I mean? You're going to blow up the chimenea, the porch, everything. That's the difference. And I want you to keep that thing in mind. You know what I mean? I want you to keep that example in mind. You don't take dynamite to light a chimenea. Okay? That, I'm serious. Like, that will help you, because those are things everybody knows. You don't take dynamite to light a candle. I don't want that. I want your Hades. There it is. Hades is in Virgo, which is diagnostic, repair, focus, shadow work. And it's in the first house, which is your shadow is visible in the astral form. Okay. And your Hecate is in the 11th house in Cancer. That is ancestral thresholds and collective crossroads. So you're fantastic at crossroads magic. That is a very intense crossroad magic placement right there. Chaos witches do a lot of, in my experience, let me say that, because I know not all of them do, but chaos witches that can do crossroads magic are very, very, very powerful. The warning I'm going to put on that is that the beings that govern the crossroads, the beings that answer the questions and stuff like that, you're going to have to be careful that you don't make promises that you can't keep. Like, you might have every intention of keeping them, but know on the back end that you can't. The other thing too is that you're going to have to be very careful because of that Leo placement right there, that massive amount of energy. You doing any type of crossroads magic, those beings are they're gonna smell it, right? And they're gonna be all about, you know, like, let's be friends. Like, they're gonna be all about that. So you're gonna have to be on your guard all the time at crossroads. And this means just driving around town. This means just driving around town, walking anywhere you come upon a crossroads. And that doesn't necessarily mean a 4-way stop. It could be a 2-way stop, 3-way stop. It doesn't matter. You need to be very careful at every single crossroads you're at, because those beings are going to sniff out that power that you hold. And you are a first responder in the astral with Death Realm navigation. Okay. If you wanted to train to be in the astral and be a first responder and help and things like that, you absolutely could, and you would be phenomenal at it. You would be somebody that can easily go in, obliterate a target, and leave. Like, you would be a ninja. It'd be great. Well, not really a ninja, but you know what I'm saying. Drop in, drop a bomb, leave. Like, that kind of stuff. You literally see signs that say crossroads all the time, like literal hard, flashy signs. I would be very leery of those types of signs, Karina, because that means that something already knows. Something already knows. Like, it's already caught your scent, and it already knows. So I would be really careful with crossroads, with anything with crossroads. My advice is this: when you go into a crossroads, even if you're just driving around, like, just take a deep breath before you get into one. Does that make sense? You can see when you're about to get up to a stop sign or a stop light or whatever. Just take a deep breath and exhale as you go out of that crossroads. If you're walking, or if you can, just leave a coin. Leave a coin, you know? Leave an offering, something like that at crossroads. Don't ask for anything in return. Just leave an offering. Because if you have things that are pinging crossroads symbolatry all the time at you, you do DoorDash, so like a ton of crossroads, yeah. I would start just taking some coins and randomly just maybe dropping one out the window here and there at crossroads, like maybe when no one's looking or whatever. Leaving offerings in the crossroads are going to help keep you safe, because that is an offering to the beings that govern those crossroads, and not so much the ones that have sniffed you out, if that makes sense. The ones that have sniffed you out and that are trying to get you to be in the crossroads all the time probably are not the ones you want to work with. I'm just saying, they're probably not the ones you want to work with. So by leaving offerings at crossroads, that will help to give you a good rapport with the really powerful things there. So just be careful. Just be very, 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 very cautious. And that's some interesting fire placements, like that Aries placement and that Leo placement. That's some very intense, very interesting fire placements. So does that make sense? I should have heated up my coffee because I'd be cold now. Shit. I keep grabbing the wrong damn thing. Did I fuck it up? I did. Sorry. Sorry. My sorry. Some bitch. Let's see here. So Michelle, then Mike. Okay. Then Brett. Michelle, Mike, Brett. Let me make sure I got the right date. 2-4, yes. Michelle, if I pulled yours. This is Michelle E. I have, okay. You know, that's a good idea, Ray. That's a good idea. Tashana bought me a mug warmer years ago, and I have it packed up and can't find it. Yeah. What I love about this, Karina, and what I love about you finding out about it before you ever start messing with it, is that means you can have all your protections in place. You can know the things before you ever step foot in. Does that make sense? And I love it. I love it. Yeah, I love it. I had to bump up my blood pressure medicine this week. Well, I had to bump it up to the normal dose because I was having to take a half pill. And so I started taking it during the day in the morning, and I take it at night. And now my fingies be cold as fuck right now. Cold as fuck. All right, Michelle. Let's look at Michelle here. You respect it a lot, so you haven't wanted to yes, that does make sense. And that is 100% the correct way to approach it. 100% the correct way to approach it. Have something you can carry with you in your car, especially since you are in and out of crossroads all the time. I find it interesting that that's what you do. So you are literally in and out of those crossroads all the time. Find something you can leave as an offering. Like, it doesn't always have to be coins. You know, like maybe one day a few coins here or there. And then, I don't know, just look at good offerings for that. That's what I'd recommend. That's what I'd recommend. All right, let's see here. This is your friendly reminder that even though this is live, it is recorded on YouTube for you guys. So if you miss your reading, or you know you're at work or whatever and you got to come back and watch it later, no worries, I got you. It's also your friendly reminder not to be a creep or a jerk, because even creeps don't like creeps and jerks don't like jerks. You will instantly get muted, screenshotted, and blocked. And guess what? I do have the time. I've been traveling a lot lately on purpose, and it's fun, great, fantastic. So don't be a creep. Just saying. And when I say traveling, I mean astral traveling. Energy is energy, ho. Don't care if you're a troll or not. You'll know it's me. All right. I'm trying not to sing the Beatles song to you, Michelle, because I know you've heard it. Some bitch. Seventh house. Okay. So your Neptune is also in retrograde, but yours is in Scorpio. Okay. So Neptune and Scorpio in this, you know, this placement is all about, it's really interesting. I think you're the first Scorpio I've had in this. This is being able to see, hi Vlad Pad, being able to see into the shadow and right through a shadow. So almost like X-ray vision into a shadow. Ouch, chihuahua! Ouch, chihuahua! What the fuck, Holmes? Dude, we gotta take care of that. That hurt. I love you. And your breath is stank, man. I have on like ripped jeans on, and he just dug all of his claws. At first they were just in the jeans, and then they went everywhere else. They went in the not jeans. I heard it. Okay, all right. Woo, your breath is stanky. I think today was salmon. Salmon day. Nasty. It was nasty. Okay. Sorry, Michelle. All right. So you have like X-ray specs, X-ray vision into shadow, but That's in retrograde. So it's almost like, you know those paintings, or they weren't really paintings, they were like computer printout, those damn dot things where you had to like let your eyes unfocus and you will see the answers to the universe. Fucking hated those things, man. I never could do them. I fucking hated those. But that is kind of exactly what you need to do. When you come up against shadow, whether it's your shadow or somebody else's shadow, if you don't concentrate on it, then you will see through all the shit. Does that make sense? You will see through it. If you concentrate on it, though, it's going to dissipate and be gone. So I find that interesting. What that also tells me is that you are way better at seeing the light in people than you are the shadow. Can you see the shadow? Yes. Can you x-ray through the shadow? Yes. The cat is licking my pants. I don't know why. And it's, why are you doing that? Cool. Okay. That's like a heebie-jeebie feeling. I don't know how to react to that. You know, like when you have a hair that tickles the inside of your nose or something, and you get that like, what is up with you? Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. I don't know what's up with you, but you're killing me, Smalls. I can't do this anymore. I can't do it. Like, you either need to lay back down or go somewhere else. I can't do that. You're going to give me the heebie-jeebies. Like, I can feel it in my eyeball. I know every one of you guys know exactly that feeling. Like, you can feel the heebie-jeebies up your back and all the way into your head. And, like, I can't not feel it now. I can't not feel it. You can't. Michelle, apparently my cat doesn't want me to read your damn thing. You are way better at seeing the light in people, and that is a really amazing gift, because I feel like so many people see the shadow. So many people are naturally attuned to see the shadow, and we've programmed ourselves to see the shadow. So you are naturally tuned to see the light in people, see the good in people. And of course, you know, just like seeing the shadow that has its good and bad, but being a Cancer, you become people's biggest cheerleader because of this. And you have the gift and ability, I can't wait to see the rest of these, to uplift people when they need it the most in their life. And that my friend, is an absolutely priceless gift. That is a priceless gift right there. I need your Kali. There it is. Your Kali is in Taurus, which is endurance, astral stamina, and a near indestructible form. And it's in the first house, which is also natural authority and a strong astral form. So you have a very intense energy. Aries rising, Pisces moon. Okay. You feel all the things so deeply. A Cancer with an Aries rising, that is two really intense cardinal placements, like boom, boom. And then you have a moon in your emotions in the most emotional sign. So you feel everything. You feel everything super deeply. And you can take all of those things. Dude, I bet you're a great counselor, a great friend to talk to. Your Hades is total dissolution. And you have to avoid getting lost in things and in other people's stuff. Permanent underworld access, high risk, especially being in Pisces. I see why you're kept out. I see why you're kept out of the shadow because of this Hades placement right here. If you were easily able to have that X-ray view into the shadow all the time, you would be lost in it. You would absolutely be lost in it. So I don't want you to stress about this placement right here. And it's even tied. I don't want you to be stressed about this Neptune placement right here, because that is absolutely for protection. That is absolutely for protection. You absolutely would be that person because of this placement over here. You would absolutely be that person that would get lost in all of the shadow aspect. That tells me also that if that Neptune was not in retrograde, you would have a very, very addictive personality. Your Hecate placement. Libra is ethical or karmic gates, and in the 6th house is service-based threshold work, okay? Radiant visible light. We're looking at your Pegasus. Radiant visible light and ancestral pathways. Man, my friend, you are such a light worker. You are such a light worker. I love this. This is utterly fantastic. You are such a light worker. Dude, you are such a light worker. I think that you probably know this, and you probably feel like you need to be a light worker, but you, for some reason, have been waiting for permission. Here's your permission. I don't know why you've been waiting for permission. Notice the big triangles in the middle right there. One thing I would recommend is to get you a crystal, any stone that you're drawn to that's cut into a Merkabah shape. The Merkabah is going to be one of the biggest things for you when it comes to channeling that light. The world needs you so damn bad right now. It's not even funny, Michelle. You are insanely protected because of that Neptune being in retrograde. That tells me that whatever deal you made to come here when you came here, I would bet like you were a surprise to your parents. They didn't know you were coming. Like, you know what I mean? They didn't plan for it, anything like that. I would also bet that you often feel like you don't belong. Like you feel like you're out of time. Like you should be in a different decade, been born in a different decade or whatever. I would bet that you when you were younger, you got along with people that were much, much older. And now that you're older, you get along with people that are much, much younger. Like it's insane. Like you just, yeah, you are such a light worker. Whatever deal you made to come here during this time right now, has a massive amount of protections. I would bet you made the stipulation like, I'll go, but I need protections, and you have them. I would bet that if you thought back through your life, you would find a bunch of times that you shouldn't, that things shouldn't have gone the way they did, but they went the best way possible. Ma'am, I want you to go and research light workers. I want you to research what they do, and I want you to bust out of that shell, and I want you to start doing it because the world needs that so damn bad right now. It's not even funny. It's not even funny. The one thing that I do want to say, because your Cancer placement, your sun sign is in your 4th house, you need to make sure that you have some place that is your space only, that you can ground as soon as you either get home for the day or before you go to bed, one or the other, or both, depending on the day you've had at work or whatever. But you need to make sure you have a space that's just for you as far as grounding goes, okay? That will help you because light workers take on a lot of darkness. They remove a lot of darkness, and that darkness has to have somewhere to go. So you have to get rid of it. You can't keep it, okay? You can't keep it. All right. I think Mike is next, yeah? I know I've pulled Mike's chart. I know I pulled Mike's chart. What's up, Mike? You gonna come play WoW tonight with me? How have I not pulled your chart? Feeling a little crazy. Let's do the time warp again. I know I have. That's the thing. I'm like, what? What? Like, I know I have. All right. See, you confirming that I pulled it a couple of times makes me not feel as crazy. Like, I have been positive today specifically that there have been 2 other people. I know I pulled your chart. Like, I know I pulled Karina's chart. Like, okay. Scorpio, Pisces rising, Capricorn. No, Taurus moon, excuse me. Let's start here. Interesting that that's not tied to anything at all. Okay, so Sagittarius Neptune is clairvoyant dreams, prophetic dreams, etc. The 9th house, that is a cosmic placement. So your main part of your spiritual practice, your magic, what you're drawn to the most is things in the cosmos. Planetary magic, star magic, astrology, things like that. You're more so drawn to things that have more scientific aspects to them. You probably love Star Wars and Star Trek, like things like that. A lot of cosmology. Okay, where's your Kali? A 12th house Kali. Massive power requires strict containment. Non-linear power, frequency, manipulation, and upgrades. Okay. So what this placement right here tells me, oh, and it's tied into your sun. Okay. What that placement right there tells me is that, A, you're an energy well, and B, you have this ability to, it's almost like recreate your path anytime you want to. You are that. Oh, you okay, buddy? That was a bunch of crazy coffins over there. I find this interesting because this is frequency manipulation. It's utilizing frequencies and those kind of energies to your advantage. And being that you have that cosmic placement, that cosmology placement, that's interesting. But you're definitely an energy. Okay, let's look at the rest of these. You're definitely an energy well, which means people get addicted to you very easily. Hades in Libra, which is mediating between the light and the dark, and it's in the 7th house, so that's encountering shadow through others. So you quell people's shadows naturally when they're around you, which is why at first they want to be around you all the time. They come on really, really strong, like they want to be in your presence. They just love you, right? And then suddenly they don't. And then suddenly they're mad at you, and you don't even know why they're mad at you. It's that right there. It's that right there. Because you help them mediate. What's up, Oscar? How the hell are you? You help them mediate in between the light parts and the dark parts of themselves. But that 7th house placement, you're able to kind of, it's like you can make them forget about the dark parts of themselves at first. And then it comes rushing back. Do you see what I mean? It'd be like, you're like lidocaine. You know, like you can numb that shadow aspect and then bam! You have the open for counseling light right over your head. Pretty much. I'm glad you're good, Oscar. I'm fantastic. I haven't seen you in forever. Well, I think the time I met you was the last time I saw you. You know, I still haven't fixed that bracelet. It's in my purse. It is still in my purse. In fact, I have moved it from purse to purse to purse, but I still have not fixed that bracelet. I got to tell you guys a story because it's kind of funny. So my friend Oscar right there, you guys should follow him because he's fucking hilarious. But we were at a convention and his table was across from mine, and you know, we were talking back and forth, and I had this huge, it was a tiger's eye bracelet that the beads were like this size, right? And I was like, well, here, just have it on for a little bit. And, you know, like, you know, we were talking back and forth. Well, he went to take it off, and it exploded. It was like, bing, 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 bing. And it was so funny because, I mean, me being the wonderful person I am, I had to make you feel bad about it because, come on now, you know, come on now, it's funny. But I was like, oh, man, I bought that in California, like, it's been all over the place, blah, 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 blah. I was like, I'm not really worried about it, right? Like, I'll just have it restrung or whatever. That was in, what, 2023? 2023. That was in 2023. 2023. So, almost 6 years. No, 3 years. Don't listen to me. My math is not mathing. Almost 3 years. So, 2.5 years it's been in my purse. Like, and I move it. I literally move it because I have it in a little plastic bag. I literally move it from purse to purse. Yeah, don't listen to my math. Don't listen to my math. The blonde be blonding today, okay? Like, don't listen to my math. Brett, I'm gonna need you to not call me on my terrible mathing skills, okay? Well, hopefully we'll run into each other again soon, my friend. I'm sure we will. I'm sure we will. I'm around the crazy Santi at least a couple of times a year. So yeah, he'll be at Creep It Real this year with me in Pennsylvania. That was really fun. That's one you ought to come to. That's an insane place, man. That's an insane place. Yeah, I'm super excited. I gotta talk to Shauna over the next couple days and nail down like the investigations and stuff like that. So I'm excited. All right, back to Mike. You're like Novocaine, right? You numb everybody's shadows, and so they get addicted to you immediately, and then that goes away. You know what I mean? So when that comes rushing back, they suddenly just hate you out of nowhere. They're mad at you out of nowhere, and you did nothing. These are interesting. That is an ancestral issue just right off the bat. I'm just going to tell you because this is your Hecate and Cancer in the 4th house. And Cancer is that very family-oriented, roots, home-based sign. And the 4th house is your roots and family and home ties. And being that your Hecate is there and it's in retrograde, Hecate and Cancer is ancestral, domestic thresholds, and so on. The 4th house is home and land and ancestor gates, and yours is in retrograde. That 100% is a karmic issue. And what is wrong with my words? I'm being willing to bet. I'm willing to bet that is an ancestral issue that has to be cleared. So somebody somewhere fucked some shit up for you. Somebody somewhere fucked some shit up. That is an ancestral karmic issue right there. That's exactly what that is. That's exactly what that is. Slow grounded travel and a strong return cord. You get lost in the astral. This is why you have a problem traveling. This is why you have a problem traveling, Mike. That Aries placement right here. Or not Aries. This Taurus placement right here. That is your Pegasus. This is why you have such a problem traveling. It's why you can't find a tether. It's why you can't get back sometimes. It's why you get over in there and get lost. Yeah. I would be willing to bet there's a little bit of a fear with astral traveling with you because of this placement right here. And it's tied with this one. It's tied with this one. It is the only thing it's tied with. And notice that it says separating right there. That is 100% some horrendous family issue. And the thing is too, I think you have very, very strong family ties. And I think you have very strong ancestral ties. And you have very strong, like, cultural ties. Like, all of those things are really, really important to you. And, you know, they're part of who you are and what keeps you going. So the fact that you can't access that shit, that hurts you magically in the long run. Yeah, I'm fighting the urge to pull up all these other placements with you because we need to look at where your Saturn is and how your Saturn ties into this and several other things, because that's a lot of ancestral karma. The fact that you are looking at it and it's coming up now, and the fact that you have this intense placement up here, this shadow placement and so on with your Hades, that's a very interesting thing too, because the fact that you can absorb shadow, that you can calm shadow down, that learning to channel that for yourself will help you eradicate that karmic issue right there. So you are the curse breaker, basically. Whatever that ancestral issue is, that ancestral curse, you are the one that can break it. Yeah. Oscar, when I fix the razor, you're taking it back. Deal. It's apparently yours anyway, man. I haven't fixed it since. So, yeah. That's exactly you, Mike. So this is definitely something we need to look at and make a plan of, make a plan for you of how to fix this. But did that give you some answers? Or did it just make more questions? I just find this placement very, very interesting because that's an energy well placement, but it's balanced. And then, or frequency manipulation. And then it literally is tied in with the balance. And notice that it's trine right there. Trine. And it's the only thing that's tied to. I'm just saying. Yeah, you're definitely an energy well, my friend. There's so, if you look at this right here, look at all the triangles in there. Like big red triangle right off the bat, triangle there, triangle there, triangle there, triangle there. Like that's so many triangles, man. So 3 is also a very powerful number for you. 3 is a very powerful number. And if you look, 12, 21, 9, 6, 18, like all things that are divisible by 3. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I actually think it's probably an easy fix. I'm not going to lie. I actually think that it is probably a very, very easy fix. More so than you think. Or easier than you think. Sometimes karmic things are really, really hard to fix, and other times they're not. And I would bet that yours is a few steps and boom. Alright, I know that I've pulled Brett's chart. I know that I've pulled Brett's chart. Brett knows that I pulled Brett's chart. And if it's not here, then there has to be a glitch in the matrix. See, look, I pulled it so many damn times that I've got to. No, it's there. Thank goodness. I was fixing to be like, now look here. Now look here. Yeah, I figured you'd be willing to put the work in, yeah. Yeah, we'll talk. We'll talk. Apparently I need to schedule some ancestral, like karmic karmic placements and things like that, because you are not the only one. All right, let's look at the Bredifers here. There is a Neptune in retrograde. I catch myself like wrinkling my forehead because I'm concentrating, and then I'm like, why does my forehead hurt? Because I'm doing this. Like, why does my forehead hurt? It hurts right there. My face is too loud. I don't like it. I don't like it. Structured mysticism. And guess what that means in the 6th house? Especially because I know what you do for a living. Are you ready? Healing sight. In other words, you automatically know what's wrong with people. That being in retrograde, I don't think the retrograde affects that. It doesn't affect the house. It's affecting the Capricorn. So the structured mysticism is something that you're always drawn to because it should be, you know, the placement that you have, but because it's in retrograde, you end up having more chaotic magic than you do anything else. Of course it's tied in with your Kali, and of course it's arguing. Somebody at my door. Okay, watch out. Watch out. Sorry, you don't come to a diabetic's house with cookies, man. I'm just saying. They're raising money for stuff and have homemade chocolate chip cookies. Say less. Say less. Say less. Okay, all right. Okay. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Oh, Brett, that the cookies, the banana cream pie cookie. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. They were so good. They were so good. All right, we're gonna eat cookies in a minute. I'm gonna be a good girl, and we're gonna eat cookies in a minute. Okay. All right, beers. Okay, so let me get back in. Let me get back in. So your Kali is in Cancer. Emotional precognition in the 12th house. I'm sorry. I think this is hilarious. Also because you're a Cancer. But that is a... My Siri was listening. That is a permanent liminal state for you. So you're constantly... This is why you feel like you can't ground. Okay, this makes a lot of sense, and you and I need to talk, because I know there's some things personally. So I'm gonna explain this, and it's gonna make a bunch of, all the light bulbs are gonna go off because of that single placement right there. That is your personal energy, your like Kundalini energy, right? That Cancer aspect is emotional precognition. It's tied into your Neptune over here, which is... Well, I got one eye leaking, which is that spiritual perception of immediately knowing what's physically wrong with somebody. So having that Cancer placement over there, it means that you're constantly in an in-between state. And your sun sign sits in that 12th house as well, which is the house of endings, basically. So you're constantly in this middle state, right, where... You can't really ground. You can't really let go completely. So it's just like half a tether. So this is why you look for things that can distract you from that. So whether it be being obsessed with plants or, you know, anything. It's why you have always been that personality that gets really obsessed with something like that. Because you need that to help ground you. So whether it's plants or fish or people or jobs or school or whatever, you need something to be your tether to ground you down. Let's look at these other placements real quick. Here's your Hades. So Hades in Sagittarius is a mythical archetypal descent. And the 4th house is ancestral dead and family shadow lines, but that is in retrograde. So this is why you have this Cancer placement up here. This is why you have that placement. This one right here, this Sagittarius placement, that's in retrograde down there in the 4th house, this is going to suck. You're basically the shadow whipping boy for your ancestral line. This is why you simultaneously feel like the adult in the room and the toddler. It's why everybody in your family comes to you with their problems, but they don't want to listen to yours. It's why everybody in your family lays the heaviest of heavy burdens on you, but you're not allowed to lay it on them. It's also why you feel responsible for a lot of things ancestrally that you had nothing to deal with. You had not a single thing to do with it, but you feel responsible for it, and you feel like you have to deal with it. So that is an intense amount of shadow work on its own right there, in realizing that because your mom did something, because your grandpa did something, because your great-great uncle third removed did something, it's not your responsibility. But you feel like it is, but it's not your responsibility. Hecate in Virgo is ritual precision and controlled access. And in the 2nd house is energetic boundaries. I find it interesting that that's tied in with your moon right there. This other placement that we just looked at, this Sagittarius, this fucks that up, because that is actually a really intense placement, this one here. that's tied into that Capricorn moon, because this is you setting energetic boundaries. This is you having like that controlled access to who gets access to you, to your energy, to your magic, all of that stuff. But being a Cancer and then having that Cancer Kundalini, you know, Kali placement up there, and that damn Sagittarius in retrograde, that right there is what makes this not work. So I think that dealing with that, with shadow work, and realizing that you don't take responsibility for that anymore, that this will start to come to the forefront. I would love to see where your Saturn lies with these two, because I'd be curious. You're phenomenal at boundaries. You're phenomenal at boundaries. And having that Cancer moon tied with that, I would bet that when you're, you know, seeing clients or helping people or whatever it is, that you have the most amazing answers for them with their boundaries. But you know with your own boundaries what you should do, but that fucking placement right there just goes. Then you have your Pegasus in Scorpio, which is shadow gliding, and it's ancestral pathways. Yep, I'm going to stand by what I said about being like the shadow whipping boy there. Yep. I think there was probably no way you weren't going to get into healing. I'm just saying. I don't think that there was any way that you were going to not have something to do with healthcare, with healing, with, you know. I think that you're drawn to it, for those intense talents that you have. Like, you just innately can see what's wrong with people. You've got to start trusting your gut with that a lot more. You innately just see. You've done nothing else except healthcare. It just drew you in. Yeah. Start trusting your gut more, because your gut feeling is always going to be right, especially when it comes to your patients. Every single damn time. They might argue with you, but it's going to be right every single damn time. Every single time. So, I love that because I mean, for those of you guys that don't know, Brett's a nurse practitioner. And I think that's fantastic. I think that's fantastic. It puts you in a place where you can help more people than you realize. You know, like, not that nurses don't help people, not that doctors don't help people, but it allows you to go back and forth. And sometimes people see a nurse practitioner and think that you're just automatically going to be more relatable, you know, because they think of doctors sometimes as being stuffy and so on. So they automatically think that you're more relatable. And I think that you already have been utilizing those two gifts to your advantage. I think you already have. I think that trusting your gut more and allowing that to grow is only going to make it stronger. I think it's only going to make it insanely stronger and be absolutely phenomenal. And I think that's fantastic. I think that's utterly fantastic, Brett. So good on you. I'm proud of you, because that means that you already had felt that and followed it. So yeah, and working this shadow work will help alleviate the blockage right here. Yeah, so the Pegasus placement, that's this one right here. It's tied in with your moon and your Virgo, and that was the last one I talked about. So a Pegasus in Scorpio is shadow gliding, and that fourth house placement is ancestral pathways. So part of the reason why you have a problem utilizing the way you get in and out of the astral, and part of the reason that you have a problem with getting there, basically, is because of that fucking Sagittarius placement right here. Because of that. Because this is your Hades placement, and that is your underworld placement, if that makes sense. That is your shadow placement. Hades governs like shadow navigation. So having that intense placement right there in retrograde, where you can't get to that. Do you see what I mean? It's not so much the Sagittarius part, because that's a mythical, like archetypal descent into the underrealms and so on. It's the retrograde aspect of it. It's the retrograde, and that's ancestral and family shadow lines. So if that wasn't in retrograde, then it'd be great. Do you see what I mean? So it's just something you can overcome that really easily, because this is tied. Look, it is tied into your Kali placement up here. You can overcome that really easily. It's just going to take like some mental stuff, mental training, basically. There you go. There you go. Good. I'm glad you smell what I was smoking. Man, it's been a good day. I got cookies, and I got cookies, and I got cookies. It's been a good day. I think Alexis is my last one for the list today. What's up, Ginger Poo? Yeah, there's a crazy amount of lines going in there. All right, all right, all right. Let's see. Let's look at... that's funny. All right, let me... I've got too many overlapping things. Yeah, when I get off of this live stream, I am going to eat cookies while I clean my desk and plug my other monitor in, because I'm realizing I need it. I'm realizing I need it. Oh, you are, Charlie. I'm sorry. You are my last one. It's Ginger. Ginger is you're right. You're right, girl. Thank you for calling me on my bullshit. I would have looked and been like, "Oh no." All right, all right, all right. Charlie was just about like, "Wait, what the fuck?" All right, Ginger. So your Neptune is in Sagittarius in the second house. So that is that mythic, prophetic vision. In other words, clairvoyancy. And energy sensitivity. Okay. So that's interesting. You are a very empathic, clairvoyant person. Okay. But that being in Sagittarius, that's a very social sign. So you want to talk to everybody and be around everybody, but it wears you the fuck out at the same time. There's your Kali. So Leo-based Kali is balance, like a balance-based power. You stabilize other people, which is why it wears you out being around them. And the 11th house is group power amplification. So you have a lot of energy well aspects to you, and you give away that power too much. But if you don't, I think that you get jittery like a time bomb that's about to explode. So you kind of have to give away that power, which is why you always find yourself in situations where you feel drained afterwards, but happy at the same time. Okay. We don't want to look at that one yet. There we go. So Hades in Taurus is slow descent into grounded underworld work. And the 7th house is shadow with others. And that is arguing with that. It's in conjunct with your Neptune, but applying instead of separating, which means that you naturally, obviously, have an aversion to people that have really shitty energy, but at the same time, you're fucking drawn to them because you feel like you can be the one that reaches them. Not so much you can fix them, you feel like you can be the one that says just that one right, perfect thing that helps them. Dimensional or time gates, and spoken or written portals. Dissolving into movement and interdimensional travel. And then you also have a dimensional portal over there. Girl. Okay. So this right here, this retrograde placement is tied in with your Kali over here. That is in Libra. I know that you feel like you're blocked from, I know that you feel like you're blocked from traveling. I know that you feel like you are stuck. I know that you feel like, you know, sometimes you can get there and sometimes you can't, and so on and so forth. And then when I was telling all these other things, you know, like your Hecate placement down here is really interesting. And I find it, I'm glad that it's not tied into that one up there, the retrograde. But your Hecate placement is all about spoken or written portals, and then dimensional time gates. And then you have this up here, which is like, nope, you can't do that. I like that they're not tied together, first of all. Second of all, the reason that you can't travel the way you want to, and the reason that you can't travel, well, just the reason that you can't seem to travel is because you have to go about it in a different way. You have to go about it in a completely different way. That Hecate placement down there, you are a master with words. And that's also, I think it's funny when I said, you know, this is why you feel like you will be the one to say the one perfect, exactly right thing to that person and reach them. And most of the time you do. Most of the time you do. You have the exact right words, and it might just be, you know, okay, bye, you know, or it might just be something smart ass that you say. You do, for the most part, always have that exact right word to say to that person to get them to change or whatever, to get through to their shadow side. May not be right away, but it's something that they overthink for years until, you know, that happens. So you need to develop yourself an activation phrase that pulls you to the astral, and then you also need to develop a phrase to bring yourself home. You know how in The Wizard of Oz, you know, Dorothy clicks her heels together and says, you know, there's no place like home. That's a return phrase. You need something like that. You need something to get there, and you need something like that, because you are amazing at those type of portals and that type of travel. You're never going to be able to travel like, let me go get on a tiger and ride across, you know, like you're never going to be able to do that. You are, however, going to be like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz and simply click your fucking heels together, say a few cute little wordy words, and boop, there you are. And boop, you're home. So it's a much stronger talent to go into the astral that way. You just have to make sure that you have the correct activation phrase for you. And you may have to change it a few times. You may find one that works for a couple of years and then suddenly just, it doesn't work anymore. But you having a very, like your Neptune over here and this very empathic placement, that's a really intense placement. So when you travel, when you get the right phrase and everything and you travel, this is going to be something where you're shown things to bring back. Like you're shown information, you're shown things to come back here and utilize in this world. It's a very, very intense placement. But this is why you can't people a lot. You want to really, really badly. I think that you genuinely like people as a whole, but then you get out around people and you're like, yeah, I gotta go home. Like I'm mush on the floor, dragging on the floor. I'd also be willing to bet that you didn't know about empathy, being empathic, all of that stuff for a long time. And remind me, if I'm wrong with this, don't you have issues with your legs, knees? A lot of times when people stay in areas too long and they allow all of those empathic, or is it your back? I can't remember. When people stay in areas too long, they tend to take damage in those parts of them that allow them to leave. Feet, knees, ankles, back, things like that. Your back. Okay, I was like, I knew it was something. So by learning those boundaries and clearing out a lot of that energy, I would be willing to bet you notice some improvement with your back. I'd be willing to bet. Because being so empathic, when you stay any place too long, it doesn't matter if it's all good. You know, you're at a baby shower, you're at, you know, a wedding, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's still an overwhelming amount of energy. So when you have a way to put a boundary on how much time you stay at a certain place, stick to that boundary and make sure that you have a way to kind of shake that stuff off, ground it, let it go back out into the universe whenever you're done. Good or bad, it has to be let go of. I will bet you that it'll make your back start to feel a little better. Yeah. Yep. It'll help. That makes sense, my friend? Oh, some bitch. I knew I messed it up again. Hold on. I'm sorry up there, TikTok. I done jacked it all up. Son of a bitch. Okay. All right. Okay. Good. I'm glad that makes sense. You have a very intense, very strong, very, very strong gift. But I want to remind you about that, those spoken things. I want to remind you about those spoken things because that is what is absolutely going to help you travel and help you get out. The thing I love about that too, utilizing a phrase instead of a tether, an animal, whatever it is, you're always going to be faster getting in and out. You're always going to be faster getting in and out. Like blinking in someplace, blinking out someplace. You're always going to be faster with it. Yep, take a deep dive into it. You just need to come up with a phrase that allows you in your mind to activate, now I'm going to the astral. And it is going to take you a little bit to train your brain with that. And you need to go and practice getting there and then practice using that phrase and pulling yourself out. Like get there, nerd around for a little bit, pull yourself out. Get there, nerd around, pull yourself out. You know what I mean? Like you're going to have to play with it until you can do it naturally. It won't take too long because that's a natural talent. It's a natural talent you have. So it won't take you too long, but you're going to have to play with it. Oh no, you got to play with a gift. Oh damn. Oh no. Said no one ever. I mean, maybe some people don't like to play with gifts. I do. What's the point of having them? I'm just saying. Just saying. All right. Charlotte. That's crazy. Looks like spikes going down. Like, ka-cha. Leo, Cancer rising, Pisces moon. Okay. Neptune and Scorpio in the 4th house. So Neptune and Scorpio is being able to have like an X-ray vision into the shadow, and that is ancestral visions. And it's tied into your moon, which means that you take on, you're similar to Brett in that you take on the responsibility for ancestors' shit. But the fact that yours is not in retrograde and it's in, it's not Sagittarius, it's, anyway, you are one that you can choose if you want to break some of these ancestral ties or not. And if not, you can leave them. They're not bothering you. Let me say that. They're not bothering you. The other thing I want to say about this Scorpio Neptune is that having an X-ray vision, gift, ability, skill, whatever, into the shadow with it tied into your moon up there, that's a very intense placement. That means that you 100% see the worst in people right off the bat. They might not tell you, hey, I'm a lazy fuck and I'm going to come over and eat all your food and fart up your bed. They're not going to tell you that, but you're going to be like, oh, you're going to eat all my food. And you don't know how you know it. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, you probably stink. You don't know how you know it, but you know it. And I would bet that you're never wrong. All right, Kali and Sagittarius, which is expansive power, long range force projection. And in the 5th house is creative or intentional astral amplification. You're a generator. And you're a Leo with your sun in the 2nd house, and it's tied to that. You are 100% a generator. You, my friend, are what people that travel to the astral and are very strong in the astral look for, because you're a tether. You are somebody, you're like a guardian, a tether, etc. So having a friend that travels, you know innately, because of that shadow X-ray vision you got, you know innately when they get in trouble and you can yank them out. And I mean like, yank them out to safety immediately. Dude, you're like a very highly sought after spiritual person. People don't understand that that is a very important role. Traveling to the astral has its problems. Like it does. It has its problems. Like, I usually let Sass know every single damn time that I go. Like, hey, I'm going to travel. And it's not just because I want her to know I'm going to the astral. It's because she is a tether for me. And I am positive there's times that she's yanked me out. But that is also someone that you feel like something is wrong. Danger, danger, Will Robinson. And, you know, call somebody, be like, yo, no, you're traveling, but I'm going to, you know, you got to be here. It's a very, very important role to have. And if you're traveling without a tether, if you're traveling without somebody knowing you're going, dude, that's like going sheer cliff face rock climbing with no rope and nobody knows where you are. Like, you might not fall the first time, but eventually something's going to happen if you keep doing it. Do you see what I mean? So having somebody that is your tether, that is, that can yank you back like that. All right. So this is your Hades placement. And this is in Taurus in the 11th house. And this is a very slow descent, very grounded underworld work. And the 11th house is group shadow work. You're not only one of those people that you can see instantly into somebody's shadow, but you can help them with that shadow work as well. So you would be a phenomenal counselor, therapist, social worker, like anything like that. And especially because that placement is in the 11th house, you could help people. I mean, you can help people immensely, immensely with this. It's also a very heavy placement. I mean, that Taurus placement, or that being in Taurus, you're very, very sensitive to those placements. Very sensitive to people's shadow. I don't want to look at that yet. I don't look at that yet. Where is your Hecate? Okay, there it is. Your Hecate placement is Scorpio, which is death crossings and forbidden thresholds, and 4th house is home, hearth, land, ancestor, those type of thresholds. Okay, so you are also one of those people that is phenomenal at threshold work. You're naturally attuned, because that is in Scorpio and it sits with your Neptune there. You are naturally tuned to threshold work. It's also why you're able to see people's shadow. I understand why those other placements are the way that they are. Because when you have that shadow aspect that you can see immediately, you need to be able to also get rid of it. You also need to be able to shake it off. You need to be able to walk away from it, things like that. And you can do that very easily. Like, you literally are that person. You can wipe your hands and walk across the door frame and leave it on the other side. So when people say, oh, leave your work problems at work, you can. You can. When you leave, you can leave home problems at work, even though you're a Leo. Leo, Cancer rising, Pisces moon, like that's all the emotions, dude. We know it, you know it. That's all the emotions. But because of that placement right there, that is your magic, is the boundary aspect of that placement. You can leave those things over there. No, I want to look at your Pegasus. Gemini is teleporting and flicker travel, and a group grid walker. So you are also naturally talented at grids. You are naturally talented at grids. I love that so many of you guys have this placement, being naturally talented at grids. A group grid walker is really interesting because that means you can use grids for the greater good. Start using grids for you. If you don't already use grids, Charlie, you should 100%. If you don't, learn. It's really easy. Grids are so easy. You're naturally in tune with it. That Gemini aspect means that you want it to be balanced and equal parts light and dark and so on. Girl, start using grids. Yeah, grids are so easy to learn, man. Just start making them. Just start making them. You will feel like they're never perfect because you have this natural talent, but other people will look at them and go, holy shit, that's so cool. You will feel like they're never good enough. Unless they're like the size of a table. You're like, you're never going to feel like they're good enough, but they will always be perfect and everybody else will be in awe of them. I promise. I promise. I would bet that you also, this is something I forgot to mention I should have with other people that have had this placement. Being very talented with grids and being somebody that's a group grid walker, you also have a natural talent with organizing and arranging rooms. So you know exactly, like people call it feng shui and so on. You know exactly where things need to go for it to be comfortable, for you to be comfortable, for the energy to flow correctly. And so there are some times that you're going to rearrange a room 900 times and then end up getting rid of a piece of furniture to get another piece of furniture. Do you see what I mean? Like, you have this innate talent to line things up how they need to be in any space. That is another talent for those of you guys that are good at grids or that have a placement where you have one of these like this in the 11th house. Having this as your Pegasus. Oh my God, you're a designer. Shut up. Are you really? That's funny, dude. So the other thing I want to say about having this as your Pegasus placement, you're also going to be naturally attuned to things like Metatron's cube is going to be a really good one for you because of a travel aspect. This is a lot of sacred geometry, but Metatron's cube specifically is going to be one that you can use to travel super easily. Super easily. A Merkabah is also another good one that you can use to travel super easy. Super easy. Girl, you got a lot of talents. You got a lot of talents. A lot. Probably a lot more than you thought you did. I'm so enjoying these reads. You have no idea. I'm so enjoying these reads. Did you realize that you had this many talents, Charlie? It is a lot to research. It is a lot to research. That's why I was like, y'all all have homework. Y'all all will have crazy homework, falling down all the rabbit holes after these. If you guys did not make it on the list today, I haven't looked to see if my list for tomorrow is sold out. It was very close to sold out when I started this live stream. I will be on tomorrow. I will be on, well, Thursday, Friday, Saturday doing these. If you want to get on this list, then you better do so very quickly because they've been filling up really quickly. So, yes. I did come to you once in an astral travel. Okay. Okay. If you guys would like to book one, all you, the 6th and the 7th had a few spots. Okay. If you guys would like to book one of these, if you click on my profile link, no matter if you are on TikTok or YouTube watching, then click on my profile. It is one of the top links on there. I want to say there's a music link to some of my music, and then you'll see it on there. It's called Magical Placements. Magical Placements. So, all right, guys. With that, I'm going to go enjoy these lovely cookies that are right here. And I am going to fix this shit that I have. I'm going to fix this shit that I have going on over here and get my other monitor fixed. So I'm not having to squish 5 things little bitty because I got to quit doing that. It hurts my brain. All right. I love you guys. And I will see you later. Tonight is Witchcraft and Witchery. Bring your witchy questions. We're going to play some World of Warcraft. It'll be great. It'll be fun. It'll be fantastic. So, all right, guys. I'll see you later.